It's time for ignition and straight up automobile pimping.
Dude, where's my car?
Dudes and dudettes, welcome back to the Dude, Where's My Car podcast. I'm your host, Tom. I'm with my lovely, wonderful co-host with me, the master of the Shaolin, the man who bags every car in Sydney, Mr. Tony Hung, man. How you going?
I'm wonderful. I'm loving the heat.
Me too. I won't lie, today it's a bit of a stretch, man. 40 degree to straight into the beautiful, lovely northern beaches of Detail AutoHaus.
Yep.
How you going, man? You well?
I'm well. I had to change a shirt because I got so sweaty today.
Is that why there was a plastic new shirt in there?
Yeah. I was in the workshop today.
You're a
and they're running
sicko.
up and down the workshop.
How's your old
next
man?
door.
Is he still got that weird hand?
Yeah. That's why I was in the workshop today.
Yeah.
He was up in the office on his phone.
Tony, where are we?
We are in a wonderful place today. A place where I don't think you could see a dirty car. Every car looks like a mirror.
I would agree with that. I'd say we're actually in the land of BMW, to be honest with you. And arguably in the backdrop here, as you can probably tell, for everyone watching this podcast, there's a couple of nice Ferraris hanging out in the back. But Tony, we have a wonderful guest with us today. To everyone who would be in the Northern Beaches or perhaps have worked in automotive for quite some time, definitely within, certainly over the past decade minimum. The gentleman of house that we live in today, his name is Jason De Carlo. And Jason here is the owner of Detail AutoHaus. It is a wonderful, pristine workshop. It is flawless. Everywhere we look around this room right now, there are nice cars, there is equipment everywhere, and there are pristine photos absolutely everywhere. Jason, mate, how are you going?
Mate, I'm good. I'm good. Is that...
Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah, that's
I know you've done potties before.
But
before.
not like that.
Yeah.
I've had that kind of those before.
Dan's on the sound effects today.
Yeah.
Normally he's like 2 minutes late.
Yeah, no. I know you're. Look, you're a bit of a veteran when it comes to potties. You've been doing a few of these before, but this is your first one with a pair of headphones
This
on.
is like my first serious one. Usually it's like over Skype or video call or something like that. So
Okay.
They're usually like that. This is like my first one with like a proper mic setup, proper headphones.
Yeah. How's it feel?
So it feels good.
Yeah?
Good. I feel very like professional.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good.
For a
tried
bunch
to
of
be.
unprofessionals,
Yeah,
that's really nice.
it's good. Good. I definitely want to do more of these. Like this is cool.
Well, the beauty of what we have is that we are pretty much around the corner from one another.
There you go.
So you can come around whenever you want, and hopefully we can come around here whenever you want. So maybe just return. You know what? We'll jump onto your podcast, man. We'll go crazy.
You never know.
Yeah.
Next minute, he's hiring us to do the podcast for him for his show.
Yeah. We're the cameraman. We're behind the little DJ thing.
Well, you never know. I go to a lot of events, so could have you guys set up there somewhere. You never know.
That's very, very true. Jason, I have a lot of questions for you today, but I'm not sure if you've listened to this podcast before. We generally do a bit of a deep dive on our guests before we start getting into the nitty gritty of all the different car, chaotic things that we do from time to time, be it in the street, be it on the track, be it as a business, be it whatever. I often want to tell the audience just a little bit something about our guests, and I was hoping today you could just introduce yourself, explain a little bit, I suppose, how you got here in the first place, and then get into a little bit more about how Detail AutoHaus started and what you're doing today. What's your day to day?
Okay, so my name's Jason De Carlo, like you mentioned before, and how did I get here? I'm actually a mechanic by trade, and I actually started with this man's dad.
I can't wait to rip into
Oh
that.
man,
later.
so there's some good stories coming up. Some good stories coming up. So back when I was 15, I started in the automotive trade. Should we go into how I met Frank?
100%.
Right
Go
now,
for it. I
or
don't
do you
even
want,
know.
Do you want a bit of an overall summary, and then we'll get it back into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so pretty much I left school year 10, started my first year apprenticeship with A&B Automotive back in the day. There was really like no K-Sport back in the day. It was just like A&B Automotive and then K-Sport started. And then I did that and then, did my apprenticeship, not with Frank, but with other workshops and things. And then I got to a point, about 16 years later, where I just didn't enjoy doing mechanical anymore. So, but I still wanted to be around cars. I love cars. I live and breathe cars. And I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I definitely don't want to be in an office. I'm not an office person, right? So I was like, what can I do to be around cars and get an income from it?
Yeah.
And at the time, I had a Mazda RX-3.
Sick.
And yeah, so that was a sick car. And I was doing weddings and stuff with it. So I was getting the car ready for shows, weddings every weekend. And I was like, you know what? I really fucking like doing this. I like cleaning my car.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, why don't I do a bit more of this? And when I was still doing mechanical, I was doing headlight restorations. Because some cars come in, headlights are totally faded, you can't pass them for rego. I'd restore them, get them through rego, da-da-da. I've been doing that for years at work. And then I was like, why don't I do more of this? Like, I can actually get money doing this. So I was working at Brookvale Mazda at the time. And I was like, I'm gonna advertise on Facebook Marketplace and just see if I can get some work. So I actually started doing a lot of that on the side. And I was like, shit, I'm making good money doing this. I'm making more money in a day than I'm doing my whole week. I was like, this is actually pretty good.
Alarm bell started going.
Yeah, alarm bell started going off. But then I was like, then I thought about it, I was like, oh, you know, running your own business can be quite hard. And I was like, oh, maybe not. So at the time, I started working at Bridgestone Select. I was actually appointed as the store manager there, which was really good. So it's good money, got a company car and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty good. So I let all that stuff go. And then slowly worked my way back into it. And I was like, you know what? Everybody keeps saying, oh, did you wash the car? Like, it looks so good after you do the headlights. I was like, no, I didn't. But then I was like, hold on. Why don't I wash the car, then do the headlights? So I started washing the car, doing the headlights. And then like, oh, this looks really good. Thank you so much. And it actually was really, really good for me. So I went from washing the car, doing the headlights, then doing like a quick detail spray around the car, cleaning the wheels, tire shine. And I was like, oh, that's like a detail.
Yeah.
It's a full package.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was doing this for years. I started in 2016 doing this kind of stuff. But really, I was doing like headlights on the side of the road. Like pretty much, I've got like a little suitcase and I would take with me. It's got all like my sanding stuff in there, clear coat, and I would do it. I remember I was doing one on Alambie Road, and there was cars like flying past me.
So full blown mobile.
Full blown mobile, and I just had like a Honda Civic that I paid $120 for. Literally, this car was about to go to the scrapyard, and I was like, "Well, how much?" I said to my mate, "I was like, how much do you want for that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's about to get towed." I was like, "Well, how much is the tow?" He's like, $120. I was like, "I'll give you $120." I was like, "Does it run?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'll give you $120." So I've got it back. And at the time, I actually got called some mobile detailer out to buff it. He did the worst job, but it looked a little bit better. And that was my little mobile car. I had a Honda Civic, EK Civic, and drove around my little case and I was doing headlights.
That's sick. $120 for an EK Civic.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
Now it's like 20 grand. Yeah. And it's still shit.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, so that's
it's the same car.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I got started, like going from mechanical into detailing. And it's definitely come a long way from there. But it started with headlights. So I was, what was I? Jason's Headlight Restorations.
Yeah.
I've actually still got the shirts at home. And then I became Mobile AutoHaus because I was doing mechanical.
Yep.
So I was doing mechanical stuff. I was fixing headlights. I was doing everything. Anything I could do, any kind of cashier I could do, I'll do.
The handyman of cars.
Pretty much, because mechanical, you don't really get paid that much, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, how can I get more money? Work wasn't definitely paying. So I was like, well, I've got to make my own money, right? So I started doing that and became this.
So, I imagine there was some level of passion there, but this kind of just eventuated and rolled into its own thing. Like you just kind of stumbled in it, it feels like.
Pretty much. But no, it's still a lot of hard work and it's taken a lot of years of building this up. Pretty much started a lot with the detailing around late 2018, early 2019. Mm-hmm. That's when I started getting cars, like doing a lot of ceramic coating, paint correction, all that kind of stuff. I didn't know how to do it. So at the time, I was sending my car away, getting it buffed, and then I'd come back and ceramic coat it.
Yep.
And I'll tell you the story, how this all started. So I had an E46 M3, kind of like that one there.
Yep.
Same color, same everything pretty much. There was a guy in Chroma that was detailing cars. He's not there anymore. And I kept seeing on Instagram all these cars getting done, all these details on Instagram. I was like, oh, this is sick. This looks really good. It's really satisfying. I spent $1,800 and I got my car done. It looked really good, but the coating didn't last. It was supposed to last like 3 to 5 years. It lasted 3 months.
Wow.
And I was doing everything he told me to do. I used all the correct wash mitts and soaps and all that kind of stuff. It failed. And he blamed me. He's like, oh, your water's too hard, or there's this or there's that. Blame me for everything. And I was like, bro, what the hell? So I called the company that was representing him at the time, and I was like, this guy's pretty much blaming me for something. I go, I think he's done something wrong. So he called me and said, oh, how dare you do that, da, da, da. He goes, if you think you can do it better yourself, go for it. And that's pretty much how I started. Because I was like, you know what? You know what? I go, I reckon I can do this. I go, I pull out engines and gearboxes and shit from cars all day long. I'm like, as if I can't do that. So I did my research. I went full deep dive and all the shit. How do I do it? What do I do? The company that he worked for actually sent me a kit, like a ceramic coating kit.
Yep.
So I went and got my car buffed. I got all the scratches, all the swirls taken out of it. I then got the car back and I was just watching YouTube. How do I do this? Step by step, how do I do this? And I followed all the correct procedures. I did it. And that car was like, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And then I was like, at that point, I was like, he definitely missed out on this step. That's why I didn't last. So, and then I was like, this is really cool. So I started doing that more and more, more and more. Yeah. And then for Christmas that year, my mum was like, well, what do you want for Christmas? And I was like, I want a buff. So I jumped online, I found a kit. I bought it. It was like $330. It came with some pads, came with some compound. I've actually still got it to this day as like.
That's mad. That's mad.
And I just was buffing everything. I was buffing my car. I was buffing my mum's car. I used to buy and sell cars, like do them up, sell them. You know, buy a car that's got like a blown engine, fix the engine, and then I'd clean it up. I'd buff it and I'd sell it, right, and make good money. And I was like, that actually looks really good. And a lot of people commented, they're like, oh, why don't you do more of this? And I was like, all right, well, give me your car. And I did jobs for free just to like practice.
Yeah.
And so pretty much it just came from that, from like buying, flipping cars to doing it full time.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was doing so much of it. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're right.
Fine.
Also pull the microphone just a little bit closer to yourself as well.
Yep.
You can pull it. You should be able to pull it as much as you want.
Oh, yeah, sweet. Is that good?
Just so it's a little bit further in front of your mouth. Tony, you can do it. Just pull.
Tony can do it.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so pretty much that's pretty much how it all got rolling. Like I was buying, selling cars. I was buying them, buffing them, selling them that same weekend. I remember I got a BT50 on Friday. I went to because I couldn't wash cars at night time because obviously I couldn't make noise. So I used to drive them to DY car wash them down there, drive them home. I wouldn't shame them. I'd drive them home. I'd drive by the time I get home, let it sit overnight, then the next day buff it, and then Sunday advertise for sale. And
That's wicked.
I actually sold it that same day.
Oh, wow.
No way. That's like a record.
Bro, I made $5,000 that weekend.
That's like a record right there.
It was unbelievable.
Were you hearing of anyone else doing something similar like this? Or you were just like, no, I can do this?
Yeah, so my friend had a shop called Time to Shine Detailing in Narrabeen.
Yeah.
Narrabeen? Yeah, Narrabeen. And like he was doing a lot of stuff. And he actually buffed my RX3 back in the day. Yeah, man. And I was like, that was such a fucking... It turned out so good. It was like chalk. And when it came out, it looked like glass. It looked so good. And shout out to Matt at Time to Shine. Well, now he's got his own business up in Port Macquarie, so he's doing really well up there. Yeah, so he's doing really good. And so that kind of got it started. Like, and that comes back to the RX3. Like, I saw that big transformation with how that car was so bad, it really needed a respray, to paying $400 to get a buff. Oh no, it was like $600 back then, and the car looked amazing. Like, I didn't need a respray back then. Like, it was awesome. So it just kind of got me thinking. I was like, okay, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can do that. And and then I was buying, selling cars, getting them ready for sale and everything. And they just looked really good. And I was like, you know what, I'll just do more of this. And next thing you know, I was pretty much I was going to work as a store manager, and I was doing really well at work. You know, work was like, I never let it affect my day job.
Yeah, of
course. It always stayed true. Like, I always went really hard at work, but then I still did this stuff at night. So I'd pretty much leave work at 5 and work till midnight.
Yep, the hustle.
A lot, yeah. I did that a lot to build up my name, but also build up my skills as well. Like, a lot of jobs I did for like $200-300, pretty much just to cover materials, but just to learn. Just to get good. Yeah. And whatever I did, I wrote down. I was like, okay, I'll use this pad, I'll use that compound. It took me this long. How can I get faster? Yep. You know, and then whenever I had that car, so let's say if I had black Mercedes come back in, I'd be like, all right, cool. I'll flip the page. Okay, I did this, did that. What can I do to do it faster? Yep. And pretty much just learn from there, you know. And it would have been so cool to see as well the time difference, because you would have seen the difference of, like, say if it was 6 months ago, you would have been like, oh man, I've already learned so much between now and then. Yeah. If you're in here 6 months later, I'm going to do this and I'm going to see you. It was so exciting to, like, just to try different compounds, pads, and be like, oh shit, instead of doing that in 4 hours, I did it in 2.
Yep.
I was like, and then I was like, that's how you're gonna make money. You got to be fast in this game, right? Because every job that we do is like a very long job. It's 8 to 10 hours, 12 hours.
Easy.
So how can I do that faster but not sacrifice quality? So that just goes back to trying new things, new pads, new compounds, and working it out.
Yep.
So it got to a point. Sorry to cut you off, bro. But it got to a point where I was at home, and I was detailing it like on the weekends and after hours and stuff, and I was losing money by going to work. And I was on a good wicket. Don't know. I was on over 100 grand. I had a company car. It was good, but I was still losing money by going to work every day.
Yep.
So at that point, I was like, I've got to do something about this.
It's time to start.
Yeah.
What a change up though, because arguably the transition from like going out on your own and making that leap. I don't know if you want to touch on it now or a little bit later. That takes balls. Like,
well, look, I was still employed, so I was detailing for probably a good 2 years, but still employed. So I didn't rely on it. It was more just like fun and extra money. And what I would do is I would use like that $400 or $500 I made in that weekend, or $1,000 I made in that weekend, and not touch my pay. So, and my bank was just increasing. I was like, man, this is sick. Like, I'm leveling up. This is mad. And so I just kept doing that. And at the time, went through a breakup and stuff and everything, so it was pretty hectic. And I was just grinding. I was like, there's no time to be upset. Just go for it.
Yeah, get involved.
And the phone was ringing. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Just book it in. Let's go.
Yep.
And it was hectic, man. But it led me to be where I am today.
Yeah.
So, and pretty much the jump from being where I am now, like being employed to being where I am now, was I used to work at Midas in Hornsby. I was actually looking at taking over the franchise there because somebody used to run that shop and they ran it into the ground. The place was a mess. It was just dirty. It was disgusting. I went in there, cleaned a lot of it up, and I was like, you know what? I just don't really love this anymore. I've been a mechanic. I've been in management. So I've been a mechanic. So in the automotive game, I've been in mechanical for 16 years. Part of that 16 years, I've been in management for 5. So I worked my way from 2RC all the way up to store manager. I had 9 staff. I had 10 staff at one stage. It was pretty hectic. Yeah. And I was working 6 full days a week, and it was hectic, man.
Yeah,
it was a lot.
I believe that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I just didn't really like doing that anymore. So I went to my last push was like going to Midas to buy the franchise to see if I still liked it, and to see if I could buy the franchise, maybe get a manager in there so I could have that franchise and then detail home. But I couldn't actually find anybody to do that.
Yep.
So I pulled the pin on it, and I remember one day I was at Midas. Sorry.
You're right, man. Don't stress.
I remember I was at Midas. I was working away. I was like, man, this place fucking sucks. And I got a phone call. It's like, do you want a factory? I go, what do you mean? It's like, oh, well, come over chat. Like, we've got a space for you.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Man, I got on my bike that day and I was flying, dude. I was doing like 180 in the 60. I was like, get me there. I was flying, man. And I got here in like record time. And so pretty much it was allowing me to be here because this place was owned by someone. I'm not going to mention who they are, but they were using this place for storage.
Yeah, right.
And there was like cars everywhere, man. There was Valiants everywhere. There was spider webs everywhere. Like it was just literally just
close the door, forget about it.
It was a closed door, forget about it. It was a dump yard. The place was really run down. That wash bay outside there was. I'll go try and find an old photo. It was a tip.
Yeah, right.
And the owner used to live around the corner, and he used to walk his dog every day. He used to walk past me like, what the fuck's happening with this factory, man? Yeah. And the previous guys were here for 38 years. And then they moved. They bought a factory while they were here, and they moved into that factory. So this was like their shed, right? Yeah. Pretty much dump all the cars, bikes, whatever, overflow, just whatever you want to put in here. There was couches and stuff in here. There was all sorts of shit, paintings and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they pretty much got threatened because the doors were all closed. Everybody thought this place was like abandoned. So they pretty much got threatened to be like, we need to have someone in here, otherwise like people are going to think it's abandoned, maybe break into the place and all sorts of stuff. So that's when I got the call. It's like, oh, you know, we've seen you online, you know, and they known, like I know a lot of people around Brookvale, so they've known of me, you know, they've heard of what I've been doing and stuff. And so they were like, okay, well, just come in and, you know, pay a little bit of rent and off you go. So I pretty much I didn't have any of that section down there.
Yep.
I pretty much just had where we're sitting and there.
Wow.
And I had half a wash bay because there was a boat in there. It was fucked up. And the place is a mess, man. And so I came in here, painted the floors, got it all looking really schmick, did all the kitchen, painted everything, got rid of heaps of stuff. And I remember sitting on the floor, day one, I remember sitting on the floor, right here actually, and just being like, what the fuck have I done? I went from being on like over 100 Gs, company car, I was killing it, to nothing.
Yeah.
Like no income.
Ground zero, man.
I was like, man, the hell? And so I walked around Brookvale like the dog with his tail between his legs, like, oh, I'm a new business, like handing out my cards every cafe and stuff. Like, oh, send me some work. Bro, the next day I had cars everywhere. I employed 2 people straight away. And actually, sorry, I'm just going to cut back a little bit. So that was in February when I started. In December, I went around to everybody's house that got a ceramic coating through me, and I gave them a bottle of wine. I was like, thank you so much. I really appreciate you supporting us. And this is a dream that I'm going to take a bit further. And I went around to one of my customers' house. He was actually the worst customer. And I actually had to write a letter being like, don't come to me ever again.
Oh, wow.
And but he was always the one that was pushing me, being like, you're so good at this, you should really take this further. But he was the worst customer. He was like such a pain in the ass. But he really inspired me to be where I am today.
Yeah.
So I went and saw him and I gave him a bottle of wine, and on that card it was like, I'm opening a shop and I want you to be there. And he was actually retired at the time.
Yep.
It's that man right there, John. And
no way.
yeah, so John was full in IT, but he loved cars. He had an E90 M3. I had an E90 M3. He actually came to me because he saw me online. I had my M3, he had his M3, and we just started talking. And I was like, oh, I do detailing. He's like, oh, I want to get my car detailed. And I did his car, but then he just complained about everything. And the car was fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But he would wash it, scratch it. Oh, I thought the ceramic coating wasn't going to scratch anything. I was like, no, you can still damage it. Like,
it's not impenetrable.
he was just one of those customers that if you told him don't do all this stuff, he did exactly what you said not to do.
Classic.
So he was just the worst customer. I got to the point where I was like, don't come here ever again.
Yeah.
And so that year I went to his house with a bottle of wine. I was like, look, man, I'm actually going to start a shop, and I want you to be there. Maybe just do a day or two, just like I need help. And yeah, so literally that day, the second day I opened up, which was February 15th, 2021, I had cars everywhere, man. I had cars like literally in the driveway around the corner.
Like all different types from all the different shops.
Types. Yeah, just from different shops and stuff, because I've been in Brookvale for so long. I've known so many people. Being in the tyre game, mechanical game, man, I've seen all these people like every single day.
Bro, this place is a powerhouse. There's a genre for everything.
It
Rotaries,
is.
The Porsches, the commies, the...
Dead set. There's everything in Brookvale. And so a lot of people just gave me a chance. Yeah. And there might have been like $200-$300 jobs, or not even that. But I was like, sick, like we're in business, let's go. Yeah. And I remember I hired John straight away, and I hired a girl, Darcy, and she used to work at Repco, but she just liked cars.
Yep.
And I was like, because she always used to go next door to see Martin. Next door, there was like an Asian mechanic there, and he was just funny. He just used to do shit. And so she used to hang out there and everything. And then she saw what we were doing, and I had some pretty nice cars in here at the time. And I was like, yeah, do you want a job? Like, do you want to do some stuff? And she's like, yeah. I was like, I need help. So like, let's go. Yeah. So pretty much that second day, I had 2 people working for me at the time. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to pay them. I didn't know anything really. I was like, there's a lot of cars here, and I just knew that we just had to get through
just to finish it.
Yeah, so I pretty much just figured everything out on the go, like literally on the fly. I had no intentions of starting a business, and everybody that knows me prior to me being here, I've always said I'm never going to start a business. And now here I am.
Here you are.
Yeah. And so it was actually really exciting, and then it's just been non-stop ever since that day.
It really feels like it, man. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm not trying to fill up your ego or fill your boots up too much here, but I've heard a lot about you even before I met you, and today's the first day I've ever actually met you. But the fact that I've known who you are for many, many years, and I've seen this all across socials, I've seen this across everywhere, right? Like, it just goes to show the amount of work that's actually gone into it over the course of time, that it's just got such a name for itself. Like,
yeah, 100%.
It's awesome.
Well, it's a grind, right? I mean, it's like you guys know yourself doing social media. You got to pump it every single day, man. Like I said, I post every day, like 7:30, sometimes earlier, to try and work out the algorithm.
6 o'clock is our thing.
Now I don't even know the algorithm anymore. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm posting it this day because like I get home, I have dinner that time. I'm having dinner. I'm like, yeah, I'll post that. That's fine. You know?
Yeah.
And it's the grind, man. Getting out there, showing your face every day. Hey guys, this is what I'm doing today. You know, it might look shit, but you know what? It's just footage.
It's real.
Right? Yeah. It's real. And half the reasons why I do my stories all day long is because it's like a live update of me working on the customer's car.
Today was perfect.
Yeah.
That yellow BMW right there is a perfect example. I saw it this morning and now I'm looking at shining today.
Well, this car was completely chalk. Like it had no shine to it at all. This car's got 260,000 Ks. You wouldn't think that looking at the car now, but it looked like it had 300,000 Ks on it. It was fucked. And now this car looks stunning. Like it looks like I've just re-clear coated the whole car.
It's brand new.
Yeah,
it looks amazing.
30-year-old car.
But this is what I love so much about this. Like this car is so nostalgic to me because my dad used to have one.
Yep.
And I never forget that day that he goes, okay, here you go. You can start driving it. You know? I was 13.
Yeah.
Driving one of these.
Yeah.
So it was so cool to have one of these cars, and now I'm working on them. Like it's so cool, man.
I want to drift one. I really, really want to drift one. I said that to Tony the other day. I was like, please, can we get a BMW to drift? It'd be great.
Yeah. No, definitely like E series or F series, like even F80, best drift car.
Yeah?
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I want to dive into that afterwards.
Unbelievable.
Hang on, what makes you say that?
It's just so set up out of the factory. Like it's got a good diff, it's got a good gearbox, it's got heaps of power, heaps of low down power because it's twin turbo. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah.
Is it true that electronics help?
No, it's good in these. You can turn everything off. It's great. But in those, in the G series, I feel like they interfere too much. Like that's what I don't really like about the newer cars. They interfere too much. Even if you turn them off, they still interfere. Which is really annoying. I remember I was driving it was a G series. It was an M340i, and I've never nearly crashed a car so much in my life because you're turning into a lane and it's like it's pulling you out of the lane.
Yeah, it's force feeding.
Fuck off. And I remember one day I was going down Roseville Bridge and it's like I thought I was crashing into another car. I was just going down Roseville Bridge. But there was actually nobody there.
Yeah.
I was just going pretty quick. But it thought I was going to crash into another car because it was
crazy. It's too much. It's too
and then
much.
It slams on the brakes. I'm like, what the hell? So, yeah, I just don't really like. I just think the way that cars are going, they're too automated.
Yeah.
And you're not really driving them. I mean, how many times you see online, like Tesla's like out of control? There was one the other day, just smashing cars in a
There was one literally. There was one literally above on the hill where we are right now, just outside the you know where the KFC is up towards Forest.
Yeah.
Literally right at the huge T intersection right there. As I was coming down, I was like, we talk about this all the time. Like, come on.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Like, look, I appreciate the hard work that's gone into it and the whole EV push and stuff, but it's really just not the way.
It's just not there yet.
It's not there yet, but it's... They're just shit. Like, honestly. Like, they're so shit.
I've had my rants with EVs.
Yeah, it's like... but besides the fast acceleration, what else do you do in that car? It doesn't sound good. I mean, look, your car sounds sick.
There's no sound.
There's no personality.
Like, you got a V8 supercharged.
Yeah,
that sounds sick.
You get the raw to it.
And yeah, the EV is just like quiet.
Yeah.
How boring.
There's nothing to talk about. Like, I know a lot of people have it on about this, but like there is nothing to talk about it when you get in there. Like,
well, what kind of engineering masterpiece is it when they're all pretty much the same?
Yeah.
It's just an electrical engine.
Yeah.
Whereas that's got an S58. That's fucking sick. That can make 700 plus horsepower with a downpipe and an email.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's fucking mad.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
Downpipe and an email.
That's awesome.
I've never heard anyone say an email before.
Dead set. They made that car so sick. Like an EV is like, oh look, and they always talk about it. Oh, this one charges at 80 kilowatts. Who cares?
Yeah.
I was in a BYD the other day. I was in an Uber, and I was like, oh, how is it and stuff. He's like, oh yeah, this one like it accepts like 80 kilowatts per second or some shit. I was like, that's what they talk about.
Yeah.
That's their biggest thing is like charging.
Yep.
Have you guys ever like driven?
Mad.
Have you guys ever like driven an electric car?
I have, yeah.
And had like range anxiety?
No, I've never been in one long enough.
It's shit.
I bet it.
Because bro, I had one. I went to Melbourne for my birthday, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna get a Tesla. I'm gonna try it out. Drive around all weekend. I was like, it went from 100% to 50% in like 180 kilometers.
Did you have your foot down to the floor the entire time?
I was pumping it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to test it out, right? I was like, yeah, sweet. Well, I've got to test out this.
He rents it for a reason.
Yeah. Rental cars, yeah, they cop it. But I was like, okay, I'll go charge it. I went to the supercharger. I went to the Tesla place wheels. There was just like 2 broken down Teslas blocking 2 chargers, and then there was only 1 out of 5. 1 out of the other ones working. There was like 5 in total, so 2 were blocked up, 1 was working, and the other 2 were broken.
Yep.
But there was like 10 Teslas there. I was like, I'm not going to wait here all day. I then went to a shopping center. I was like, oh, maybe we'll just go have a look around.
Should be a charging station.
I'm only here for another day. We'll just go look around some shops or something, whatever.
Yeah.
Plugged it in at the shopping center. Bro, it was something ridiculous, like 19 hours. From 50%,
What?
From 50% to 100%, it was like 19 hours
ridiculous.
or something. Or longer. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we'll just get it a little bit better so I can hand it back to the rental company. So we went shopping and we ended up getting like an electric scooter, and we were like riding around Melbourne just like checking things out. Came back, it went from like 52% to like 58 in like 2 to 3 hours. And I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Do they charge you if it's not fully charged?
No,
Okay.
I don't think I paid. No, I didn't pay anything. Maybe I had to pay something. I don't know. I just drove off.
I don't know. You know how you like have to give the car back and you got to fill it with petrol or whatever? Otherwise they charge you something ridiculous
so the
per
rental
litre?
company, I was like, man, I called him. I was like, man, just charge me, please. Like, I can't deal with this. Like,
I am waiting
but
in
I
line.
had range anxiety. I was like, I don't know where to go. I'm in Melbourne. I don't know where I am. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to take this car to charge it. Like, it just sucked.
Yeah, okay.
And look at cars now. If you're like super low on petrol, you're like, just run around the corner.
Yeah.
You just drive down the road, fill it up, and away you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the EV's shit.
Yeah, no infrastructure.
No
infrastructure whatsoever.
And even if there is infrastructure, like sometimes it don't work. Like there's do you guys watch Yanamais?
No.
Oh, so he's brought a Cybertruck into UK.
Okay.
He's like the first one there.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
And all the Tesla chargers there don't support Cybertruck.
What? What do you mean?
Yeah.
So
that's
that's
the shit it is. Why doesn't that support the Cybertruck?
so he can only go to Tesla charging stations
so what
if
he
he
had
wants
to do,
to
he had
charge
to
it.
buy adapters, and he had to use all these different adapters from different models.
Guys going from 3-phase to like
honestly, watch the video, and you'll just be sitting there like, it's so frustrating.
Yeah,
To see
okay.
that, it's like, well, they're so shit.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I'll bring it up on this video whilst we're playing as well. Everyone can
Yeah.
get a link into that. That's funny. I did not know that.
No, honestly, look into it because like it's actually really frustrating.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Miss actually
Well,
was
for
looking
them,
into
not me.
Cybertrucks.
Yeah.
Is she?
She did for a phase when they just came out. Just how fucking tough they are. We didn't know
When
what
they
were.
smashed that rock against the window, that's what sold
No,
you.
it was just more running into other cars and stuff.
There are plenty
they're
of
like a brick.
There are plenty of other good strong cars out there.
Yeah, well, Cybertruck just seemed cool from here. But nah, the charging is atrocious on those. We had a customer come in with one. And then he was like, it's low on charge, I'll give you the charger. Oh man, put it on charge. We came back the following day. And he's like, did I forget how much percentage it was on? Or did it just not charge? So he called up the customer and
it
he's
does
like,
nothing.
yeah, it was charging, but it charged like 6%, 8%.
If you plug it into the wall, it does nothing.
yeah, it's
I had one car that was low. It was like 20-something%, and the customer's like, "Oh, can you please help me out charge it because I need to drive somewhere." I plugged in. It was like 34 hours.
it's
And I'm like,
ridiculous.
there's no way I'm leaving a car like that on charge overnight in a building that was made in the 1920s. No chance. I'm not burning my shit down for one of them.
The whole of Brookvale's
Yeah,
on fire.
no way. I don't want to wake up in the night. There's me on the news like, oh fuck my building. No way, bro. No way.
Old man Frank's giving him a call, being like, "What did you fucking do?"
Yeah.
that one was parked outside.
Yeah. So why don't we talk about Frank? Why don't we talk about your dad?
So just for context, and this would be really good for all the listeners tuning in. This is news to me that you used to work with old man Frank.
I did. I'm going to tell you the story. All right. So I was in school, right? I was in year 10, and I already knew what I wanted to do. I was like, I want to be a mechanic. I was there drawing car photos all day, like. They're terrible. When I look back at some of them now, like I saw an old book that my mum kept, and they were the worst. I thought I was drawing like a mad photo. It was really shit.
What are you drawing? Like the S13 or
Yeah,
something
like an
that?
S13
Yeah.
or
Trying
like
to
an
be Suki in
R34
Fast and the
or
Furious.
something. But we see it like the Tamiya cars, and like do you know those?
Yeah.
We used to paint them. We never put the suspension. We used to put glue tack on the wheels and like jam it onto the body so it looks slammed. Like all these little things. Like we used to do all this shit, and I loved cars,
Yeah.
and that's that's just how it was. I loved cars. And one thing that before like going into being a mechanic, what we used to do, my dad and I, we used to go around to car dealerships and test drive cars all weekend, and we'll test drive them and just like bang them. We're like, yeah, how long do we have? Like, sometimes they're like, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just go around the block. We'll bang it that whole time.
Brand new Audi, brand new
car. Yeah, and remember there was Envy Imports.
Yep.
We used to go pretend we were buying like a Skyline or pretend we were buying a Supra because we were playing Gran Turismo at the time.
Yep.
And we were like, there's actually Supras there. Like, there's actually Skylines. Let's go. And my dad was like, well, let's go pretend we're buying one and we'll go for a drive.
What a sick
And
dad.
I remember, man, we were driving,
So cool.
and we were driving like GDRs and stuff. And
This is back
and
when it was
Supras.
fast and loose. It was a bit cowboy. There wasn't the amount of rigmarole that you have to go through to test a car these days is way different to how it was back then.
Oh yeah, way different. So yeah, we were driving all these cars, man, and we're just like banging. So it was
That's
pretty cool.
sick.
It was pretty cool. I remember one day we had a Jaguar X-Type, and because my dad had an E36 M3, so we would always go there and be like, oh, we're thinking about trading this car in for this, and they're like, oh yeah. They're like, oh yeah. My dad's like, oh, I heard this car was better than this, so let's go test it out. One day we had a Jaguar X-Type, and I don't know why. Oh. No, I think they gave you like a free mug or something if you drove the like.
Oh.
If you were like thinking about buying the car, you'd get something, right? So we used to get shit.
Incentives.
And actually, when HSV was selling the Monaro, they used to give you like a knife.
Did they?
Yeah, like my dad's got like one of those multiple knife things,
like the
Swiss Army
the
blade.
Swiss Army ones. Yeah, so my dad's actually got like a HSV one.
Oh wow.
What?
Yeah, so we test drove that car to get that. It was sick. And so I remember we got this Jaguar X-Type and we went down Old Pack because this guy was like, test it, do whatever you want. Like, I want you to think that I want you to really test out the car to make sure it's better than that. So like, all right, cool. So we went down Old Pack and we were thrashing this car. Dude, I was like 14 driving this car. We were thrashing it. And we thought the car was rear-wheel drive, so we were trying to do burnouts.
Oh,
It
okay.
was all drive.
Yeah.
And the clutch stunk. It
Yep.
stunk so bad. And anyways, we were overtime that the guy was probably like, what the fuck are these guys? Like, he had
Stolen a car, yeah.
he had like, so when we got back to the dealership, he had another person wanting to test drive that car. So we dropped it off real quick and he's like, oh, quickly. He put the other people in the car. And we're like, yeah, we'll call you. See you later. And he's like, what's that smell? I was like, I don't know. And we just jumped in the car and ran off. It was so funny. The car stunk. And the clutch was gone, dude. We burnt that one out. It was pretty funny. But that's what we used to do. Like when we were younger, my dad, because he's a rev head as well, that's how it all started with me.
Yeah.
And we'd just go test drive cars and, back when there was like WRXs and Evos and stuff,
Yep.
like at the dealership, we'd go test drive and be like, oh, let's go see how this is.
Back when it was
When you could buy them
sick.
new.
Back when cars were cool. And we used to just go thrash them around the block.
Just Supras everywhere. Just,
Yeah. I remember one day we test drove a Jeep Wrangler and we full went off-roading for like half the day.
We're at like the Blue Mountains or
No,
something.
bro, in Morgan Road in French's Forest, man. If you go down there,
Yeah, there is.
So my dad actually sussed out this four drive track, and he's like, "Oh,
When you did a four-wheel drive.
yeah." So we went and we pretended we were buying this Jeep Wrangler, and the guy was so cruisy, so laid back. He's like, "Yeah, go do whatever you want. Go for half a day if you want." And my dad's like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, go for it. Go test it out. Make sure you want to buy it." So we went off-roading, and I don't know if you know Jeeps, but they got like a roll bar at the back with speakers and stuff on it. And we were so young, we would just hang on the back of it. And we were having the time, me and my brother, we were having a time of our life. This was so much fun. My dad's like thrashing this car. And we're going off-roading. We got stuck. Some guy had to come pull us out. I was like, what the f***? I'm not even in that car. So I was so young, I was like 13, 14. I didn't know. I was like, whatever. This is normal. Fun. Yeah. And you know what? We had so much fun. And my dad saw how much fun we were having. He actually bought the car.
Oh,
So
no
out
way.
of all those cars that we test drove and
Had fun in.
yeah, he bought that one.
That's amazing.
It was pretty funny.
He
It
bought a
was pretty
Jeep.
funny. He bought a Jeep. Yeah, he literally bought a Jeep.
Yeah.
wow.
And it was the worst car.
Yeah.
You know, with the soft top on, because it had a full soft roof. I remember we used to go for like long drives to find four-wheel drive tracks.
Yep.
It was the worst car because the whole soft roof would just buff the
Yep,
whole time.
yep.
It was
Yep.
so bad. So we didn't really do that
Yep.
much very often. And then he ended up selling it.
That's what we all do with
Wild.
Jeeps.
Yeah.
I was going to say, did you return it back that same day though? Or
Yeah,
did you
yeah,
buy
yeah.
it that same day?
No, he returned it and then he thought about it and then he bought it.
Oh my gosh.
I think because we were so G'd, we're like, Dad, like, get that JDM.
That's the funnest car.
Yeah, it was fun, and yeah, it was good. So yeah, he ended up buying that car. It was fun.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's such a good story.
No, it was good, man.
How did that translate into Big Frank?
Oh, so
You want to dive in every time.
I want to know.
Yeah, Cranky Frank. Okay, so what happened was, right, I knew I wanted to be a mechanic. I went and did work experience at a mechanical shop in Forestville when they were around. And the guy pretty much said to me, I had a car, by the way. I was 13. I had a car. I used to save up my lunch money every day. And I bought a Holden Camira
Holy
for
shit.
$100. And
Fuel was also very different back then too.
Yeah.
So yeah, the price of fuel was...
yeah, it was. It was like 90 cents at the time.
Oh, bro.
It was so good.
Remember the outrage when it went above $1?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I had a Holden Camira, and I used to live in a dead end street. So me and my mates used to walk down from school, and like we used to drive this car up and down. We had like, I don't know, we put a head unit in it, so we had like music playing, like we wired
The JVC, right?
Yeah, 100%. And we used to drive them down the street. I was like, we end up cutting a hole in the bonnet and putting a pod filter like out of the bonnet. So I already had a car at 13. Like,
Yep.
yeah, I was just right into it. And then one of my friends, he had a VL Commodore. Oh. And back then, people would just give VLs away. And I actually he actually gave me a VL.
No way.
Yeah, like that's how much of abundance there was of VLs. It was just like, here, just have one. Like,
Such a different time.
I know. I actually had like 3 VLs. And
Don't rub it in.
No.
Like, that just...
And then, so I had the Camira and then I had the VL. And so I had 2 cars. I turned 14. I had 2 cars.
Jesus.
And I just loved cars. And anyways, the fuel pump and the VL shit itself, as they all do. And I was doing work experience. So I was like, if I do work experience, maybe I can work out how to fix a fuel pump. And I did work experience and the guy's like, nah, mate, this job is not for you. Like, not for you.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I love cars.
It definitely is.
I was like, no, fuck this. So I was like, I'll go do an apprenticeship. And I remember me and my mum, we came down to Brookvale and she was looking for a place to sell like white goods. She wanted to buy a cabinet or something. There actually used to be a place like where Hungry Jack's is. Mm-hmm. They used to sell like secondhand white goods or whatever. She just wanted a cabinet for the laundry. And I remember seeing A and B and it said like performance parts, like performance stuff, right? And I was
Old
like,
Turbo Smart logo.
yeah. And I was like, Mum, pull over here. And she's like, what? I was like, just pull over. Yeah. And I remember I ran in and your dad was dead set. I had no word of a lie. He was sitting on the floor eating noodles. And dude, he was watching Initial D. I fucking shit you not. And I was like, this is the most JDM thing I've ever seen. I was like,
Is this Asian guy watching anime?
Yeah, it was an Asian guy eating noodles watching anime. I was like, this is the most JDM thing ever. And he couldn't really speak much English back then. And he had a guy working for him named Rob Mercedes. He's still around, just around the corner.
Yeah.
And he goes, I was like, yeah, do you guys need an apprentice? And he's like, yeah. He goes, come back Monday, talk to Rob. He couldn't really speak much English at the time. So I came back and I spoke to Rob and he's like, when do you finish school? I was like, in a couple of weeks. He goes, okay, we'll finish school, have like a couple of weeks off and let's go.
Let's rip in.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And straight away from my mates, I was copying shit because I used to play footy.
Yeah.
And I was like, boys, I won't be able to I'm going to start an apprenticeship. And they're like, oh, you're probably going to leave us and everything, and you're a soft fuck and all that shit. And I was like, fuck. Like, I want to start working.
Yeah.
And anyways, so I started working with Frank.
Yeah.
And he could not really speak much English. The only words he could say was like, fuck, dickhead, shit, fuck, like, fuck you.
That's all he can pretty much say now, man.
Pretty much what he can still say now. He has actually got much better in that time. And so first day and he pretty much said to me, he's like, you're not going to be doing like any work, just watch what we're doing, watch the tools I'm using, make sure those tools go back, clean up and everything. And I did that and I stayed pretty close with Rob because he could speak English.
Yep.
And I was like, what the fuck is this guy saying now?
I wonder how you guys work.
And bro, there's times he would come out of the office and it's like, fuck. And I'm like, what the hell is he on about? And he's like, he wants you to do this. I'm like, how the fuck did you? He's like, I've just been working with him for years. He just understood like what the fuck he was on about. Yeah. And so pretty much there was actually really cool cars coming through. There was GDRs coming through. There was, that's the time that they built the Sleeker. They got the Sleeker painted and built a car back then.
Was it blue then?
It was blue.
Yeah.
And they because Frank was getting those horrible wheels in. He still got those horrible wheels on the car. And the Lamborghini doors.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, sick. Because like Fast and Furious was
man.
around. And Auto Sound, I was like, oh, this is where I want to be. This is mad.
Yeah.
And I was like, But we were doing heaps of trucks at the time. Frank used to have a deal with some guy at the fish market. We did heaps of trucks.
Yeah, okay.
And
do you mean like the small ones? Like the small,
big.
The big refrigerant trucks.
Yeah, like refrigerant trucks. And we always used to do like clutches and stuff on them. And I was the guy that used to go in and clean up all the old clutch dust and shit in there.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know what I breathed in at that time, but it probably wasn't good. But man, I remember, we used to do those heavy jobs. They were pretty hectic. And then I used to catch a bus home, right, because I was so young.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that I looked how I did. But when I got home, my mum was like, "You're black." Like, I was covered, bro. Like I was literally, all you could see was like just two eyes. I was covered in like clutch dust and all sorts of dust from that thing. And that's just how I used to get around.
Yeah.
And, so pretty much I started with, I had a couple of weeks off. I went and started with them and it was good. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. But it was hard because I didn't understand what he was saying. And I wanted to please him so much. I felt so like happy to have an apprenticeship. I was like, I feel so, like out of all my friends, I was the only one that started an apprenticeship. And I was like, I felt so cool. I was like, I got a
working
job.
class man.
Yeah, I was like, I went from having like $5 a day for lunch. I was like, now I make like $200 a week. Yeah, right? Fuck, sick. Where am I going to do all this money? And it was good, man. It was really good. And then it got to the point where, like, if I messed up something, because obviously I'm learning, he would be really hard on me.
He would give it to you.
And I'm sure you've had that too. He would give it to me, but I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. So he actually gave me a name. He used to call me Fishing Man.
A fishing man?
Why?
I go, Rob, what the fuck? And he's like, like goldfish. I'm like, no, I don't know what he's fucking saying. So he used to go, fucking fishing man, you fucking dumb Aussie. I'm like, what the hell? I didn't even know what I was. I'm like, Rob, translate. And he's like, okay, he wants you to do this and that. And it was pretty hard on me. And then I used to eat a lot.
Yeah.
So he started calling me Hungry Jay. He still calls me Hungry Jay now.
He still calls me Hungry Jay.
Yeah. So he's like, and then I'd be eating, he'd be like, fucking fat.
But back then you were like built. He was saying you were like built at the gym.
Yeah, I was I was just training a bit, and I was playing footy at the time.
You were playing footy, yeah.
You know.
So big dog's got to eat.
You got to eat, right? And I remember there was times where, and this is like a couple of months in, like we kept getting, you obviously get smashed playing footy on Sunday and stuff. So I'd just come in limping or bruised, and one day he sat me down. He's like, it's either fucking footy or it's either fucking work.
Ooh, okay.
And he's like, you want to play that shit? You don't have a job. I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So what am I going to do? I had to make a really hard decision at like 15. And I did it. I chose to be at work.
Yeah, wow.
And my mates went to town on me. You're a soft cock. You're this. You're a fucking dog. You left us. I was like, fuck, what are we going to do? Like, I've got like,
got work.
threatening my job.
Yeah.
And so I stayed with them and it was good. And then
crazy.
That's when we were doing like a lot of auto salons and stuff. So I was like, this is fucking sick. Like I'm going to like auto salons, I'm going to shows.
Yeah.
And I was selling stuff, man. I was selling HID kits, scissor doors.
Yeah.
The neons.
Yeah.
They were doing neons on the car. I was selling
neon.
rims, bro. I was like 15 selling rims. I was this is sick.
Yeah.
I felt like just felt important. And I was like, this is mad.
Well, arguably, there'd be a lot of people who wanted to be in your position doing that anyway.
Well,
like,
100%. At that age, I mean,
when you're that age, you're getting a free ticket to Auto Salon, which is something that you would like. You dream of just even getting to go to.
Yeah, like it was awesome. Like I was already really liked going to those kind of shows, but now I was working there. I was like, this is really cool. And I remember seeing like Andrew Hawkins back in the day, like talking about the dyno and stuff. He's like, yeah, this car's coming next. It's got this turbo and that, and it's going to make like 500 horsepower and make like 700. I'm like, yeah, look at that. Like, I remember when he was doing that back then. Like,
hosting shows. Yeah.
It was really cool, and the scene was so alive back then. It was so cool, and So, anyways, I bought another car. I bought a Mitsubishi Cordia Turbo GSR. I paid $800 for that car. Saved up all my horrible pay from being a first year apprentice, and I bought that car for $800. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, we're a JDM shop. We do up cars and stuff. I was like, oh, cool. Be like a cool platform. And I remember I went to the Wreckers and I bought like a front mount intercooler off like a N13 Pulsar or something, or like an ET Pulsar.
Yeah.
And I got intercooler piping made up, and I got an exhaust done for it. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, sick. I was making like blow off noises. Like, oh, that's awesome. And I had no license. So I just kept driving around, and I was like, this is fucking bad. And I remember Frank ticked me up some wheels. So I had fat wheels on the car that I had to work and like pay off. I was like, oh, awesome. And Yeah, so I had my Cordia turbo. I had
Yeah.
a turbo JDM car, and I was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
I was like, this is it. This is happening for me. And anyways, that car was a bit of a lemon. And I sold that. I bought a VH SLE Commodore. Paid $200 for it. And this thing was immaculate. Paid $200 for this car. And because we used to go door knocking. If we saw a car like sitting there for a while, we'd go door knocking. Like,
100%.
What's happening with that car? And like, and that Commodore was her son's car, but his son went to go work overseas or whatever. And she was like, "Oh, do you want to buy it? Like, give us a couple $100 for it." I was like, "Yeah, sweet." So I bought that car, and I was actually getting it ready. I put VTSS wheels on it. I lowered it.
Yeah.
And it had a smashed window, so I went to Abco Spares, got a window. I did it myself. I was like, "Oh, cool! I'm starting to learn how to do all this stuff. This is great." And then on Australia Day, it got stolen. Outside the shop, because there was too many cars in the shop. So friends like, "I'll park your shit outside." So I parked it outside. It got fucking stolen. Yeah, no, like at night.
At night.
And at the time, Frank had cameras. I was like, "Oh, check the cameras." He goes, "No, they're fake. They don't work." I was like, "Fucking hell, man."
They're not fake anymore, I can tell you that.
They're definitely not fake
Even if
anymore.
they do, the coppers can't do shit.
Yeah.
That's
But it
horrendous.
was unregistered and I didn't have a license. So I was like, well, I just had to cut
Well, who
the
are you going to
losses.
tell?
Yeah.
Exactly. So that sucked. And my parents felt really sorry for me. And so I was 16, I was nearly 17 at that point. And my parents were like, "Oh, we're really proud of you. You're really sticking this out. Like, you've done a year already. Like, we want to buy your car." I was like, mad. So we went up and down Parramatta Road. I don't know if you guys remember Parramatta Road back in the day. It was sick.
Yep.
There was like cars from auto selling there and stuff like that.
The whole strip.
It was actually really good.
Yeah.
Bro, I bought an E30 323i with an M-Tech 2 body kit on it, slammed on Volt crystals or whatever. Wow.
What?
With full beige interior and like it was a full like sexspec car.
Yeah.
But then my parents got that for $5,500. And I remember driving home and I didn't have a license. No, they drove it home because it was in Granville. I was like, "Oh, it's pretty far." Probably
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But I remember getting that car. I was a baller.
Yeah.
I had a Beamer.
That is baller.
I had
Day.
custom trim. I had fucking chrome rims decked on its ass. I was like, "This is sick." And so I was like, "I've got to do more with this car." So we put a PlayStation in it, put a TV in it. I went to J Car. We got like one of those, TV, the
LCD screens or whatever it is, yeah.
We got like because Strathfield Car Radio was around the corner.
Yeah.
And I knew the guy because he had a Silvia and stuff. And I was like, "Oh, cool car. Like come get Lamborghini doors and stuff." Like, I was trying to like still sell stuff. He's like, "Nah, fuck that shit." But we became friends. And I was like, "Oh man, like I want to do something with this car. Like, can you help me?" So he actually made like a custom thing for the screen to be like down the bottom. And yeah, we put a PlayStation in the car. And because I didn't have a license, my mate was driving because my mates just only started getting their Ps.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they were driving around and we were playing like Fight Night and shit in the
really?
back. So we had a case
Holy
of beer in the middle
shit.
and we're playing Fight Night in the back. It was sick.
so
I was like, this is life.
Yeah, this is,
Sick.
yeah.
I was like, got my sexspec car. I got subs. I had subs as well. And I got a PlayStation in the car. Like I've made
Yep.
it. Because part of that auto selling scene, I was
Yeah.
like, I wanted to be that way, right?
You see it at the shows and you're like, yeah, you want that.
And I remember I've actually still got a photo of me entering that car into auto salon with L plates, but I didn't actually have my license. So my friend drove the car, but I stuck the L plate on to be like,
Funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
and coming to the time to drive it out of there, I was like, I had to drive it home. Nobody was actually around to help me drive home. Frank was like, "Fuck you." He's busy.
He's gone.
He was gone.
He's at the
Rob
train
was
set
busy.
stuff, yeah.
They were like busy packing up the shop, and I was like, I just had to.
Bite the bullet.
I just drove it
go.
home.
Yeah.
Fuck it, why not? And I actually got caught driving without a license twice. And it was like a $650 fine.
Oh,
Before I had my L's, so I was like, I'll pay that, fuck it, whatever.
yeah.
And so I actually got done twice before I had my L's.
That's crazy.
I actually got done. The second time I got done before my L's was I was actually driving to the RMS to get my L's.
That's when they get you.
Yeah, bro. Because that was when it was at French's Forest.
Yeah,
Forest Way
yeah.
Shops.
The RTA.
So I was driving, I was going all the back streets, and this guy was following me for ages. And he's like, obviously I was not driving good because he's not following me. And then he pulled me over. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm going to get my license." He's like, "Show us your existing license." I'm like, "I don't have one." He's like, "You can't drive to go get your L."
It's like when they get you when you're getting your P's.
He's like, "Leave this car here now." And I was like, "Fuck." So I had to leave it there, caught a bus home. I was like, "Oh, shit." And then, eventually got my L's. But I failed my L's like 4 times because I was so excited to drive.
for speeding.
Yeah. I was so pumped to finally be able to legally drive.
Yeah.
I failed like 4 times. I'll get to the questionnaire bit, and like right at the end, I'm like, I'm going to go driving, and then I fucked up. Yeah. And then when I finally got my L's, bro, I was gone. I was out of there.
Yep.
Yeah. My dad was like, yep. He just sat in the car and he just fell asleep, and I just drove everywhere. It was great.
Sweet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was unreal.
Such a different time.
It's such a different time.
Such like a different, like, because what you're describing to me there, everything you've said, those stories and everything that you're even referencing and like how it probably would have made you feel. Certainly Auto Salon, the MTV style sort of like PlayStation in the back or whatnot, the Lamborghini doors, all of it, man. Like, it's so different to now.
Yeah.
The vibe is different. Like young kids have it differently.
They are very different.
Yeah.
They're very different. And I feel sorry for them.
Same.
They're just not it. Like they can't handle it. They can't do a full day working. And I feel sorry for them because I love working. And I don't know, they're just different, man. I remember I had one kid that was working for me, and he was crying one day, and I was like, what the fuck are you crying about? You watched a Notebook or some shit? Like, what's wrong with you? And he's like, you're controlling me. What do you mean I'm controlling you? And he's like, yeah, you control my life. I go, what the fuck are you on about? And he's like, well, if I don't show up to work, you don't pay me. And if you don't have any like jobs that you can't do, you can't give me cash jobs. So you're controlling my life. I'm like, that's called being a boss, motherfucker. I'm like, I'm your boss. Like I give you jobs, and
That's how it works.
If you come to work, you get paid.
Yeah. Funny that.
I'm like, you lost all your sick pay because you've been sick so much. Like, if you don't come to work, you don't get paid. Simple.
Yeah.
And he was just like flat out like, you're controlling my life. You're controlling me. Like trying to do that whole woke shit. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, just go. Just go. Go far away as possible from me.
You're not wrong. It is
But that's
way
how
more
but that's how they're talking these days. We never spoke to our bosses like that.
Imagine
Bro.
that with Frank.
Yeah, bro.
back in that he would fucking kill you.
Man, he used to kick my ass, man. If I did not clean... Man, I remember one day... he had a cordless phone, right? And every day, A&B Frank speaking.
Yeah.
And one day, he left it on like the windscreen cowling of like a car, and it went underneath like where the wipers are.
Yeah.
And he lost the phone, and he had to go use the corded one. So that he hated that. He blamed me for that. He's like, you fucking lost the phone. I don't even answer the phone. He goes, fuck you. He goes, fucking find the phone. So, bro, for 1 week, I remember I pulled that whole shop apart.
Just to find a phone.
And I go, man, I can't find this phone. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. I can't find this phone. And, bro, he used to kick me on the ground. Like, fucking find it. And then one day, like 6 months later, because we used to always service car like every 6 months kind of thing, 5,000 Ks in 6 months. This car came in, I opened the bonnet, and I'm like, this motherfucker.
Oh, the car left with it.
I'm like, Frank, at that time, we got a bit more friendly. I was like, Frank, come here now. He goes, what? I go, what's that? And he goes, oh, you found it. I was like,
plays it. I'm like, nothing's
I'm like, man, you fucking tortured me for months on end. And bro, I used to go home crying. Like, dead set. I was on the bus, like crying. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I used to go home. Mum was like, you have to do it. Like, you got to stick it out. Like, you're a year into this now. You've got to stick it out. Like, it's all gonna be okay. And I was like, man, I hated going to work. And then it just got funny after that.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of just like broke the ice.
Yeah.
After 1 month of being like tortured, it was like, I was like, yeah. And then I started giving him shit. And then Rob started giving him shit, and it just became really funny.
Started from there.
Next
And
minute,
then-
the phone's wrapped in pink fluoro. Like, never lose it again.
And then after that, so I was there for a little while, and then after that, I went to TAFE,
Yeah.
and all my mates were at Jeep. They're working at Robert Garhard Jeep up the top here. And there was like 5 or 6 of them. And man, we had so much fun. We did the dumbest shit at TAFE. It was like high school on steroids. We did the dumbest shit.
Allowed to break shit, no consequence.
Back in the day stuff.
100%. We did crazy shit. And I was like, this is so much fun. And all my mates are working there. I was like, can you guys get me a job? And yeah, they got me a job there. So I was like, Frank, I'm going to go there. Like all my friends are there. And yeah, so I went and worked at Jeep, and man, we did some...
Tore it up.
We tore it up. We did some stupid shit. And it was so much fun. It was the funnest like time of my life. It was so much fun. It was not a care in the world, just like come in late. But I used to have, because some of my friends just come in early, they used to like clock me in. Do you guys remember like a Bundy clock?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
You have to put the time slot.
they used to clock me in at 7, so I used to give it overtime in the morning. I get there like 8:30. And yeah, bro, so we just like run amok there. We had heaps of fun. We just did all super shit. And then, so that was really good. I was there for like a year. That was really, really good. I learned a lot there actually. Like, despite all that, we still worked hard and actually had a lot of fun. It was really good.
Yep.
Had an S13 Silvia at the time, so I was really big into my drifting back then. And that was really good.
What was drifting like back then?
It was good. There was a lot of street stuff.
Yeah.
Like now,
Streets of Mexico, yeah.
raining a little bit in Mexico and come down and just do some helis and. But you know we
When
used to
Brookvale was on fire, man. That was,
yeah, it was good. But you know what we used to do, bro? We used to like, I know it sounds weird now because people don't do this anymore, but we used to go hunt tyre shops.
Tyre shops.
What if they threw out some decent
Semi.
tyres?
Yeah.
You'd take them, put them in your
Secondhand.
car, and then you go get them fitted and go burn them out and come back. And I remember I raided Bob Jane's so many times that, and they could tell that. Because they're like, yeah, we pulled these tyres off yesterday. Now you're here getting fitted. They could tell. So they're like, if you want tyres, just let us know. We'll put them on the side. And I was like, oh, cool. I need 235, 45, 17 or whatever I was running at the time. Or I think it was like 205, 55, 16, like the Sylvia stockies, right? Yeah. And I was like, I need these. So, and Ben at the time, which I'm actually still friends with, he had an S13 as well. Mm. And we just became mates because S13 and doing burnouts and shit. And he used to see me come in on belts and stuff and be like, where'd you do that? And I was like, I don't know, just around. And we just had areas that we would just tag, right? So we'd go Chroma,
Yeah, for sure.
Mexico version of
Chroma.
And,
yeah. Chroma.
yeah, Brookvale, that kind of stuff, you know, and Artarm and all that kind of stuff. So we used to go everywhere, right? And just
Run amok back in the days.
run amok. And at the time, what I was doing, because I was earning a really good salary of $282 a week.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so I was killing it. I was like, how am I going to build my drift car? How am I going to fund this? Because I keep breaking shit and hitting gutters and all sorts of stuff, trying to learn how to drift, right? So I was on listensilvia.com back in the day. I don't know if you guys seen that.
Forums.
It's the forums.
Yep.
This was before Facebook, any of this stuff.
Yeah. When forums were alive.
Forums were alive and they were really sick. And I love forums. That was back when the shit talk days were like on forums.
They're
And,
dead now. Totally dead.
They're totally. It's all Facebook now. Facebook's it's good, but it's not the same.
Mm.
And so I used to buy smashed Silvias. So if one had like a rear ender, I'm like, oh, I can sell the engine,
Yep.
or I can keep the engine if I blow one, or I could sell the lower control arms. I can sell this. I can sell that. And I used to strip cars.
Yep.
So pretty much at the front of my house, I had like 2 or 3 Silvias at all times. Just under tarps. It's like nuts and bolts everywhere, oil everywhere. Like, I don't know how my neighbors put up me back in the day, seriously, but like, that's what we did to
get,
to fund things. I remember, bro, I came out of the shops one day. I went and got, I don't know, I got a drink or something. I was like, I want a drink. I want to go drink. I came out of the shops, it was raining, and I pumped first gear, second gear, fucking into third. I was like, this is sick, it's pumping. Oh, bang, hit a gutter. I was like, I got a low control arm at home. So I went home and I just changed the control arm, changed the tyre in, and went to Bob Jane and got a wheel alignment.
No way.
Yeah, I hobbled down to Brookvale in the morning, went and got a wheel alignment, and fucking drove home. It was sweet.
That's amazing.
That's what we used to do, man, back in the day. And I remember my car was NA because I was on my P's, and I had work wheels, VSXXs or something like that.
Yep.
And I was like, man, I got JDM wheels. Like, this is it. I went from the sexspec stuff to like JDM now. I was like, man, this is mad. I've got a Silvia. It was white and champagne. I was like, this is so cool. And I remember like a bit of the sexspec stuff still stayed with me. I put the 3 gauges in the dash from your dad. The fake Defi gauges.
Of course.
I was like, oh, Frank, tick me up some gauges. So I got gauges off him, and I had one of those monster tacos as well.
No idea.
They were mad. Whoa, we need to bring back the monster taco.
Bro,
The shift
100%.
light.
100%.
They're fucking mad.
Yep.
Oh man, I remember we used to set it like low RPM, so like the shift light would come on.
You can come with like,
Man, things we used to do back in the day. And it was just good, bro. And I had my subs. I then became closer friends with the guy at Strathfield Car Radio because he had an S13, but his was turbo. He took me for a drive, and the bug hit me. I was like, I have to do this.
Have to turbo the car now.
So what I did was I had a friend, and he had another Silvia as well. We used to go, drifting around and stuff and everything. His car was turbo, mine wasn't, because I was, peep later. So what we did was we ended up turboing the NA motor. So we got a S15 S14 turbo, non-ball bearing, and we put a GTIR rear wheel in it. So it was like a high flow T28, and we just made it all look like factory. So like if cops saw me, they wouldn't really see. I had the sideband intercooler and everything, so you wouldn't really tell.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
But I was pumping. I had boost now. I had blow off valves. Like I had a dose pipe.
Do you remember what you were putting down?
Yeah, so at the dyno day, which we're going to get to, I ended up putting down 240 kilowatts.
That's mad.
It ripped.
Yeah.
It actually ripped.
In that car, they
and
rip.
I bought a Microtech LT8 and we wired it up. We put that in. I don't know if you guys remember the Microtech, but it looked like a little Game Boy, the controller.
I don't remember that.
It was the most JDM gangster shit back in the day. It was so sick. Like, you had a little like holder for it and everything, and it was like, I'm it. Like, this is it. And I had a welded diff. And because I had no money, so I had a welded diff, and that was it. Just used to pump helis everywhere. It was great.
Yep.
In Mexico, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But
it was the best. And then I wanted more, so we went like a front mount intercooler, and then we tuned the car more. There was a guy working at A&B, and he was tuning the car for us at the time. Because what happened was after Jeep, I remember I was at Jeep and we're having a good time. We went to the work Christmas party. We got absolutely written off. Didn't even remember what happened the next day. Well, what the fuck happened? And I remember we went back to work, and I remember the boss walking in going, "Hey boys, you were a mess. It was really fun. Like, how was the Christmas party? You were blind, you know. And by the way, we're gone broke. So find a job." And we're like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you guys are all being made redundant." Oh, what the hell? He's like, "Yeah, you got a month to find a job." So I was like, "Shit." So I was like, didn't have to do this. I haven't like had to look for a job for a while. So I was like, because I was at Frank's and then I was at Jeep. So I was like 2 years, and I was like, oh shit, where am I going to work? And then started looking around, and then that's when I went past Frankie, and he's like, oh, I heard what happened. Do you want to come back? And I was like, yeah, why not? Because at the time, Frank had a panel shop in the middle of where you guys are now. Yeah. And then on the right-hand side, he had a shop with a dyno. Because he had a dyno back when we first started, but we didn't really know how to use it. So, but now we're actually like doing more. He was pretty more...
Going through the whole chain pretty much.
Yeah, going through the whole chain of like the whole performance side. So I was like, oh, cool, I'll get back to the performance stuff, right? I had my silver at the time. It went hand in hand. And yeah, so came back to work for your dad. And it was good. He can actually speak more, like English a bit better now. So I was like, "Oh, okay, he's better. You know, I know a bit more now. I know how we understand him now."
How to communicate.
Still hid the phone from him. Still, like.
yeah. And I was like, you know what? There's a panel shop there. So if I blow a tire, smash a guard in the car, I was like, get it fixed.
Yep.
And I did a few times actually. We used to go to Oran Park, and I remember that was the first time I did like an official like drift day at Oran Park, and I went through like 6 sets of tires. And at the end, my last set of tires, I was having so much fun. I ended up tires delaminating, and they were like flapping.
Oh,
so
wow.
all the way around. I had tire slap all the way around. I even broke my rear. I broke my wing mirror, smashed the glass. That's how much the tire was flapping. And I broke my rear tail light as well.
Just sending it.
Yeah, just absolutely sending it. And I bought one of those like Band-Aid stickers and I put it on there. That was a JDM thing to do back in the day. And so life was good. I was back in the JDM scene. I was like, sick. I now there's a dyno there. We can like do stuff on the car. I was like, man, and we're building cool cars. Like, I'm going to learn a lot here, but this is really cool. And I was there for a while. And there was another story similar to the phone situation. Was where your dad, because your dad does AC regas. Yeah. He still does it. He loves his AC regas. I remember one day he did an AC. Nobody knows how to do it. Your dad loves it. It's like his thing. Like, don't touch my fucking AC machine, right? So we never touched it. It was like, that's Frank's thing. We used to get the car, get it in ready, take the blue and red caps off, and Frank would come and do it. Yeah. I remember one day he did one, and he left the machine somewhere, and like it was in the way. So when he was trying to drive the car back in, he's like, who fucking touched the AC machine? Fucking bludgers. Fuck all you. Went crazy. And I was like, and then I had enough at that point. I was like, you fucking did it. And he got real angry.
How dare you speak back to me?
You've probably seen that face. He went real angry. Like, and we had a full on like yelling match. And he's like, fuck you. And I was like, fuck you. And like, we got real like into it. And I was like, it was back to that phone thing. I was like, you fucking did this.
This is your fault.
This is your fault. This is your fucking thing. You do this. I don't touch AC. You love this. it's like, that's like his thing. He loves that. And after that, I hung around for a while, and that's where I met Scotty from Unique Customs. He had the panel shop there, right? And he had a Ute and number plate's Bag 308, and it was NA at the time, and he built that, and it made like 200 horsepower. Had a cam and all this stuff. It made no power, and he's like, "Fuck it, twin turbo," because Frank was selling China turbos at the time.
Yeah.
So we're like, Frank turbos. He's like, "Yeah, sweet." It's like shop car, and he's like, "Yeah, sweet."
Yeah, why not?
So we fucking did all the fabrication for it, and it actually still runs like to this day. So, yeah,
All the employees' cars were a shop car.
pretty much. And then that's when Paul Scoble came in, and he had the 33,
Yeah.
and that car was insane. They ran like a 10.4 back in the day. So I was like, "Holy shit, I'm running a 10-second car."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to the whole Fast and Furious thing. It's like, you owe me a 10-second car. I'm like, "There's one
Here it
right
is.
there." I was like, "There's one there." Like back then, and running a 10 was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And he had one, and it was a RB 2530, and now they're like common, right? But back then they weren't.
Yeah.
So yeah, he did it a long time ago, and it was awesome, man. That thing was an absolute weapon.
Crazy.
Yeah. So there was a lot of that shit back in the day, and it was good, man. It was really good.
Did you ever get to witness the yelling matches as a kid?
You were young. Tony was young.
I remember I hear the stories after a couple of beers. The stories come out. I'm like, Jason, Paul, Jared, Scotty, Richie,
yeah.
Louis.
Yeah, I know. All those guys.
Who's Louis?
Oh, I won't go into
Okay. Don't give him the time of day.
Not a good person.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so, and then fast forward a long time after that, I was working at Kmart Tire and Auto. I was there for a while. And then the owner, the manager at the time was like buying a lot of stuff. Like I remember like he was buying like pallets of like transmission fluid and stuff. I was like, "Oh, sick, we got heaps of stock." And then the next day it's not there. I was like, "Where the fuck's all this stuff going?" I went on annual leave and I came back from annual leave, and they tried to blame me because he tried to pin it on me.
Oh, that you stole it?
Yeah.
Oh,
and I was
shit.
pretty hot-headed at the time. I was like 18, 19 at this time. I was like, "Oh, get fucked. I didn't do this. What the fuck?" I was like, "If you guys want to blame me for this shit, I'm out. See you later." And I had a few friends working at NRMA at the time. So I went to NRMA. Pretty much like the TAFE days. Like going to Jeep, I went to NRMA because there was like 5 or 6 of my mates there, and we just run them up.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And anyways, a year went past, and then Kmart Torrential called me again, and they're like, "Oh, we realized it wasn't you. Like, we actually done a lot of research. It was actually him. Like, we got him, and we're taking him to court and everything because he was doing a lot of stuff. Like, he was hiding money in the roof. He was like ordering parts for cars and not fitting into cars. Like,
Holy shit.
invoicing a lot of stuff that we didn't know about. We was, if the job card said change oil and service car, we did that. But he was booking out a lot more stuff. So pretty much ripping the customer off. And they called us back, and I was like, "Cool." And I remember walking in there, I was like, "If you want me back, I want a lot of money." And they're like, "How much you want?" I was like, "I want 55 grand." And they're like, "Done." I was like, "Oh, sick."
Should have said 60.
That's what we were getting. I remember when I was NRMA, I was getting like 38 grand. So for me to go from 38 to 55 was a huge jump.
Yeah.
And that's when that was like, okay, mate, that was decent money back then.
Yeah.
Now it's nothing. But so there was like a lot of us that went back there, and then that's actually how I became assistant manager. I went back to Kmart Toronto, and they're like, "Oh, we really feel bad for what we did. Do you want this opportunity?" And that's when I took it.
Mad.
And then so I was assistant manager, and then I worked my way up to store manager, and then where we went, and then now business owner.
Yeah. Now full leap, full head deep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Detail AutoHaus.
Yeah, so, and then, going back to what I was saying before of like how it kind of just took off since day one. It hasn't stopped ever since. Every single day, it is crazy.
You
like,
said 2021.
2021.
That was like COVID, wasn't it?
It was COVID. I actually started my business in COVID
On Valentine's Day.
on Valentine's Day.
Was that on purpose?
No, it just that's how everything aligned. Yeah. So
He just had a really good date
Yeah.
with his business.
so this is pretty much my Valentine's every
He gets the spaghetti. He gets the alcohol
like
out.
the candle lit.
He sits right here, surrounded by his cars.
Yeah, so I had an opportunity to be here, bro, and that's why I took it. I said, "Fuck it, let's do it." And ever since then, I've just been flat out every single day. And there's like after like a year, like now, I sit at home, I'm like, "Fuck, man, I detailed cars every single day." Like you wouldn't think that, like me being a mechanic, I wouldn't have thought that this would have been Like a full-time job. Like who gets a car detailed? Like I didn't know. But it turns out, like there's so many stories to cars. You know, like that car, that Porsche over there. The customer's got like 50 something cars. So they're sitting in his warehouse. He hasn't driven the car in 2.5 years. So now he wants to finally drive the car again. So he's bringing it back out.
Needs to clean it, yep.
Yeah, and I get to drive it over Christmas, so that's cool.
100%.
And then here's a brand new G80 that's been detailed by somebody else. But as you can see, it looks like absolute shit. So we're going to go and fix that. Well, it's got scratches on it and stuff, and they've buffed it using the wrong technique. So we're going to go ahead and fix that car.
I'd love to see the before and after of that. Get a quick shot of that and then get the after shot.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Because it's a mad colour.
Yeah,
by the way, I like it.
Tanzanite blue with the white interior looks fantastic. I really like that. And it's actually got the carbon pack. It's got the carbon grill.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, it's really nice. And even things like, this is my car, so we'll cancel that one out. But like the E46, like he just bought that car and he wants to preserve that car as much as possible. So we're going to go ahead and do everything. It's sitting on coilovers and BBS LM rims, so it looks mad.
Yep.
This E36 M3, like he's had this car since new, and he's just let it go over the years, and he just wanted to freshen up. And now this car looks like brand new again. So it's so cool that we can go through and preserve cars and just look after them.
People who take care of their cars, both whether it be performance or just mechanically in general, but also going through the whole detail and keep like the preservation of everything that goes with it, means so much to me.
Well, that's the thing, bro. Like detailing is not just making the car shiny and all sorts of stuff. It's preservation.
Absolutely.
So we're preserving the paint. You know, when we detail your engine bay, like when we clean your engine bay and dress it, we're looking after all your plastics, rubbers, and everything, keeping them moist. You know,
Yeah, because it degrades and crumbles.
It does. You know, like especially on these old things, like. These degrade a lot. Like cooling systems, these and the E46s, they are shot to pieces all the time. Like especially if you buy an E46, you just do all the cooling system stuff because they just dry out.
Yep.
So if you look after the car, you're like your leather seats. If you see the leather seats and it's thrashed, same with the E46. If you look after that car, preserve the leather, condition it, you're going to get a lot more life out of it.
Yep.
Rather than now it's stuffed. And I can actually re-dye leather and stuff. So I'm going to restore these seats and make them look like brand new again. So
hectic.
It's pretty cool. But going back to that, like I can fix things, and I like that. You know,
I'd love to pick your brain on just seeing the I suppose just going through like the different years. And I don't know if you gap it by like every generation or every decade or whatever, but you must know so much about the paint, like about the process that goes into it, because preserving it and detailing it and everything that goes into it is one thing, but you would arguably know the difference of what's gone into a car that was made in the 90s, the noughties, 2010s to now.
I can tell you right now, cars made in like 90s, 2000s are much better than cars made recently. Yeah.
Explain.
This car's all metal.
Yep.
That car's all plastic. Like, dead set. If you feel the front guards of that car, the grille and everything, it's all plastic. That's all metal, bro.
Yep.
That is all metal. Like, and if you measure the paint on that car, that's got more paint on it than that car. Like, cars just had more material on them back in the day. They, okay, I did a brand new Subaru the other day, and I measured the paint. I always measure the paint before I start just to see what I'm working with. That car had 55 microns worth of paint on it, right? Now, you guys might not know what that is.
I don't.
It's fuck all. So a normal car like this car and the M3's got about 120 on them. About 100 to 120 is pretty good.
Okay.
So that car had 55 microns on the paint. So half the amount of paint of like a normal car.
Brand new car.
Yeah. If you get any like light scratch or anything on the car, I can't fix it. But on the doors back, it had 110. So to save money, they put less paint on the front of the car than the rear of the car.
Oh, so it's not an accident. It's on purpose.
On purpose. I've done 3 of them now, and I've measured them all. They're all the same.
No way.
What they're doing now is on the Subarus, go look at them. You'll see it now. Subaru Outback, they paint the face of the wheel, not the inside of the wheel, to save money. And if you look inside the door, if you open the door, look inside the door jambs, there's no paint. Look at this there's paint everywhere.
Yeah.
On this thing. There is paint everywhere on this car.
Yep.
It wasn't compromised back in the day. Now they're trying to save money by adding all these features that we don't want, all these intelligent features like we were saying before off camera, like
The tech, yeah.
the tech that you just don't need.
Yep.
Like how I nearly crashed a car going down Rosa Bridge because it thought a car was in front of me.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not there, you know? So it's funny, like we're compromising, we're adding all these safety things that don't really do much, but we're sacrificing on actual quality.
Yep.
Supposedly
And
safe
I don't like
features.
that. Yeah. So exactly. Supposedly. So
Yeah.
I did a Tesla Model 3 the other day. Like when they first came out, they've actually changed paints now because people complain about the first generation Teslas, the Model 3s. And one section of that car, it's got 47 microns, which is pretty much like a credit card, like a business card is thicker than that. So if you get a light scratch or anything, you can't buff that out. You know, they were saying, that will buff out. It won't buff out.
No, they won't.
It'll be back to bare metal, you know.
That's fucked.
So that's what's happening with cars these days. Paint is getting thinner and thinner, and that's why we all push doing some form of protection, whether it's a ceramic or graphene coating or even PPF, you know.
PPF, huge fan. Big believer.
PPF is definitely the way to go. If you got the money and you can spend it, it is expensive. It's about $7,000 to $8,000, depending on the size of the car. It's good. It's very good. You know, it works. You know, you won't have any stone chips.
Yep.
You can wash the car however you want. You won't scratch it. Like it's the way to go.
Some of it is like insanely tough, man. My mate got one of those brand new Toyota Land Cruisers, and we go out for driving from time to time. He got pretty much every part of the front guard roll side and his front and his like full cabin down the side because obviously you've got branches and trees hitting you. Nothing.
How good is it?
It's gnarly.
If you're going to go off-roading, you got to get PPF.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why people... Like, a lot of people come in and go, I want ceramic coating. I'm like, okay, what are you going to do with the car? I'm going to go off-roading. I'm like, it's not going to work for you.
In like, a black car.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, like, as much as I'd like to do the job for you, it's not going to work. But then when I get it... when they get the price for PPF, they're like, oh, no, just do the ceramic. Because ceramic, like we do our packages, they start at $1,650, or you can go spend $7,000. So it's one of those things. Like,
I'll pick up brain as well, isn't it? If a customer brings a car in, where do you start?
Well,
He's like, I just want a detail. To a general public, I want a detail.
That's the hardest question. I just want a detail. There's so many variables from there. That's why I always do a consultation with our customers first. I'm like, I always invite them, come down, let's have a look at the car. Yeah. We'll meet each other and we'll go through it together.
You give an honest answer. Like,
Well, I can walk around the car and say, okay, there's a deep scratch here. I don't think I'll be able to get this out, but I'll try. You pretty much set the scene straight away, rather than getting the car in and then it's just the unknown. And you've got to remember for some customers, once a car comes in the workshop, they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know what kind of phone call they're going to get. That's why I like to do our consultations first. I can say, okay, this job's going to be $1,000.
Yep.
And they know straight away, they're happy, they book in, we do the job, everybody's happy.
Yep.
That's how I like to operate. And I've operated that way, pretty much it started with being mechanical, right? Car comes in, put the car on the hoist, get the oil draining, okay, we found this, and that. You know, and then you call the customer, they're happy, you proceed with the work. I just do it this way first. So we see the car, see the customer, get an idea of how much they want to spend, what's their budget, and what we can do for that budget, and go from there.
Yeah.
So, and that way, everybody's happy.
Yeah.
They book in, they get exactly what they're getting. They don't get another call after that saying, oh, by the way, you need to get this, it's an extra $1,000. No, they didn't get that because I've already done that work on the driveway.
Yep.
You know, or in certain cases, if it's something that's really bad, I'll call them and say, hey, look, I found this while I was doing it, you know, or I found dents, like this car's got 2 dents, you know. But when the car was so faded, you almost
couldn't
really
tell.
see them. But now it's on shine, you can actually see those dents there. So I called him, I was like, oh, hey, look, I've noticed it now. I can get it done for you, you know. So it's only an extra couple $100. It's not too bad. But yeah, we just take all that bad thought out of customers' mind, like, oh, am I going to get ripped off? No, you're not, because we've already done the hard work on the driveway. And you've been happy and you booked in.
You already agreed to it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If you don't agree to it, just keep going.
I got one for you. Is it harder to... I know there's different levels to this. Let's just say we're going for like the best package possible on a car. Is it harder to detail an older car or a newer car?
That's...
I'll give you an example.
Yep.
I'm looking at the side trim here, like the black trim.
Yep.
I imagine you probably don't touch that with the same...
No, it's different.
You have to tape it off and stuff?
It's a bit hard to say because like we've got such a good process now that it's almost like it doesn't matter what car it is, the process is still the same. We just have to tweak our technique a little bit to adjust to the different paint type, you know, hard paint versus soft paint, and some cars have that. So this car's got relatively soft paint compared to this G80 and my F80 and E46, rock hard paint.
Right.
You know, so different generations of cars might have different paint. Different colours of cars have different paint types.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
So Land Cruiser in the white is very nice to work with. The black, a little bit harder to work with. And not because it's black, it's just actually the clear coat, it's just harder.
Yep.
So for us to remove scratches, swells and things, we actually have to use a different technique to remove those.
Yeah, okay.
So it's funny. Some cars, same car, different color, different technique.
Yep.
So we just have to get it in and, but with the techniques that we've worked out now, compared to how we started, it's so easy. Like you can see, I've got all my stuff on the wall there.
Yeah,
we can
it's
pretty much
so
just
impressive,
go, okay,
man.
try this. No, it doesn't work. Okay, try that. Boom, it works. Done.
Yep.
Simple. Whereas at the start, man, I had bottles of shit everywhere. Like, try this one, try that one, try this one. It's like an hour just to work out what to do.
Yeah.
Now we work it down to like 10 minutes.
Crazy.
So it just goes to show, like, and back to what I was saying about writing things down. I just write them down in my head now.
Yep.
That didn't work last time. Do this, because I've simplified our techniques and our processes so fine now. It only takes us like 10 minutes to work out like the paint on the car now.
Yep.
So
I got to a stage, man. I've had a lot of black cars in my time.
yeah. Well, what car do you have?
So my latest black car was an SS Ute.
Oh, cool.
Commie.
Yeah.
A VE model.
Yeah, I've had one as well. 6 liter.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
L77 engine or whatever.
Yeah.
Used to hang around at his shop way too much.
Yeah. Did you get a Frankie special, the cam package?
No, I didn't let him cam it. I did that during COVID. I was building that car through COVID because there was nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But I used to race up to the northern beaches like all the time.
Where do you live?
At the time, I was living in Woollahra.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So Double Bay.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
my
yeah.
mum was living in Newport.
Yeah.
And my mum was really, really unwell. So I would travel almost like every 2 or 3 days with food, with everything. And I had one of those little like letters that I could just, if a cop was to pull me over,
Oh, the exemptions?
go for gold, son.
Yeah,
Go,
yeah.
no one on the road.
Bro, that's what I had with my S13.
Dude, it was the best. Anyway,
Oh, yeah. I've got a little story. Yeah, after yours. Yeah.
anyway, getting off topic, but the paint on the front of that hood just got so bad. And I won't lie, I know fuck all about detailing or buffing or whatever. I give everything a crack. I'm not afraid to give it a crack, man.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I did it, I immediately learnt so much stuff just with the different compounds and like the polish and what happens after. I was trying hand stuff. I was trying the machines. Everyone was like, you don't have to hit that hard. But when I did it harder, it showed up better. I was like, I don't know what to believe. But but it was such an interesting time. I'll still have a crack to this day.
Yeah.
But what happened was it put me off ever buying a black car ever again.
Yeah, black shows everything.
Oh, it
And
hurts
if you wash
me.
it incorrectly, you just put more and more swells into it.
I know.
Yeah.
Actually, there you go. How should people wash their cars?
Oh,
if you
man.
don't know this,
I don't know, bro. No, man, look, a good snow foam. So, look, that's why I've got the Cutting Edge Chemicals products here. I'm a brand ambassador for Cutting Edge Chemicals. They're an Australian-made product. They work extremely well. First, you start off with the snow wash and then use your coated shampoo. So we always recommend doing a 2-bucket method with a grit guard in there. Get a really nice wash mitt and drying towel as well.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much what we recommend doing is snow foam in the car. Not only does it look really cool, it's actually very functional as well. What it's designed to do is loosen up any dirt, grime, or any light dust that's on the car before you do a contact wash. So snow foam the car, let it dwell for 2 to 3 minutes, pressure wash all that off. You're going to get a lot of loose stuff off the car, especially if you've got a really good ceramic coating, like some of the stuff we're using now. Like you do that step and the car actually looks really clean.
yeah.
Even mine, I did a track day on the weekend and I did that and I was like, I can leave it. But knowing me, I just kept going further and made it perfect. So after that, 2 buckets. 1 bucket with soapy water, 1 bucket with clean water. Get your really nice wash mitt, dunk it in the soapy water and do 1 panel at a time. No more Mr. Miyagi, no more swirls, just straight lines, left and right, up and down. And I pretty much start at the top of the, like let's say I do a bonnet, I start in the middle of the bonnet, go up and down and work my way to the edge, to the guard.
Yep.
Dunk it in the clean bucket, rinse it off, soapy water, and then go to the other side.
Yep.
That way you can't really, you still can swirl your car. Anytime you make a contact with your car, you still can do it, but
Yeah, for sure.
it's going to help.
Yep.
So pretty much you do that over the whole car, rinse it off, get your drying towel or like a big boy blower and just blow dry the car. I blow dry all my cars. I've got a big blower outside. So, it's so much easier.
It must infuriate you. Or maybe you've just chimed out to it now. You've blocked it out, but when people are at the car wash, they're using they're using like those brush
No,
things.
you know what, man? Look, I started there. I used to go there, man. I used to go there and I used to think I was doing the best job.
Yeah.
And now I look at that and I'm like, it's pretty shit. Especially when you see the guys in there with the four drives, like you bloody four drive. You're scrubbing it with the tyres, they're all dirty, and then you go to the paint, it's like, oh man, you're killing that thing. You know?
Top down.
Top down all the time, not bottom up. Crazy. Keep that for the bedroom. You know? Damn.
Jason's got that.
I think Tony's a bit of a freak.
Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%. Dude, I've had to sleep with this man in the same room before. I don't know what happens when I shut my eyes, man.
He always loves showing bits of me.
I'm going to share a room with this guy for 4 days at Summernats, man. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, bro, I camped at Summernats one day. One guy did a shit in the shower. I did not shower that whole weekend. I was like, fuck that. I'll stay dirty.
There's tinea in that fucking...
There's everything, bro.
Yeah, bro.
There's everything. Gonorrhea, whatever you want. It's there. So, yeah, I just didn't shower the whole weekend. I was filthy, bro, because we were sleeping in pretty much in a tent.
Yeah.
But there was dirt everywhere. And people doing burnouts, doing shit. So I was just dirty and
Everyone's
sweaty,
in blackface.
drinking. I was like, man, this is crap. Yeah. I was like, I'd never want to do this again. But, man, I used to go to Summernats every year. I went to Summernats 15 years straight.
Yeah.
I think it was 15 years. I got to go back and check, but it's every year. I don't really go now. I probably want to go to this one. I think it's going to be pretty big.
Well, big hoss, Adrian Portelli's put a whole bunch of money into it this time.
I've got to go.
Yeah.
I've got to go to that one.
Yeah.
I'll go. When is it again? What date?
The
second to the 5th of Jan.
Yeah. 4-day event.
Well, that's good because I go back to work on the 6th.
That's good.
Meaning I'm free. So
we all do. We can all road trip together.
Yeah, why don't we do a pot up there? Why don't we do another pot up there?
That's kind of what we want to do.
Thinking
We'll do it
about
on Tough Street.
Yeah, they'll lose cannons behind us. The microphones will probably
We won't be able
gone.
to hear anything. Nah, we won't be able to hear nothing.
Very authentic. Very in the background.
Fucking tits out. For the boys. Straight out. Black top. Do you guys... Yeah. Man. I remember those things. It was the best, bro. It was the best. Yeah. I don't know why you take your missus to Summernats.
No, I have no idea who would take their missus to Summernats.
I think it's better now. I think it's better.
Yeah, but do they want it to be better? I mean,
We were like the old times.
Yeah. I remember I went there when there was the there was a Cronulla riots, and they were doing
we're going back now.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I went there, and that's when a lot of the Aussies was like fucking wogs and everything. I was like, because we were doing a big parade, right? Everybody was walking through, being and just terrorizing shit, and I was like, yeah, fuck them. And I was like. And I remember the security guards tried to stop one of the guys, and he grabbed the guy's keys and just threw it over the fence. He's like, what the fuck are you going to do now? It was loose, man. It was loose. Summernats was loose back in the day.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget when I was young, I was 16, 17, we went to Summernats. And you go down Tough Street, right? More towards the car park where the cars are. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget there was this corner, and there was these VLs, and they would just, they were camping there, right? And they would just go from where they're camping, just literally just drive 2 seconds, get on the trans brake, massive turbo lag, for 5 minutes, and then and just blow off a set of tyres, just there, and then just reverse back in, change the tyres, and go do it again. And I remember me and my mate sitting there going, "What the fuck? This is hectic. This is crazy." And it was there was two of them, and they had they were big setups back in the day.
Yep.
And they were just blowing off tyres. And everybody was like, yeah, it's cool.
Yep.
Now you do a little skid in Tough Street. They're like, get out. You're banned. Give us your wristband.
Yep.
Yeah. So
What the fuck is happening to the world?
it's definitely changed a bit.
Yeah.
Not for the better, but.
No, but look, hopefully there will still be enough shenanigans to go around and make it a fair bit of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
What is going on with you for the next few months, for the next few years? What's going to happen with Detail AutoHaus? Are you going to remain here forever? What events are you going to?
Yep. So we've actually got some plans. So on Monday, we had about an hour free. We actually got through our work a lot faster than we thought. So we sat down for an hour and I was like, what can we do to make the shop better? How can we improve this place? I've only got a small space, but what can I do to make it better? So what we're going to do is we're going to add another hoist. We're going to turn the hoist around, so we're going to have 3 cars here lined up.
Okay.
What we're going to be focusing on next year is a lot of blackout packs. So wheel blackout packages, trims, tints, everything. Whatever we can do to help out and customize cars a bit. We're doing a lot of underbody coating, so we're doing a lot of the industrial four-drive underbody coatings and stuff. So we want to push that a bit more. I might even get a hoist outside as well. Yep. We're painting the building on the outside, so it's red brick at the moment. It looks a bit ugly, but I'm finally going to paint that. New signage.
Like render it or just paint the brick?
Just paint the brick.
Yeah.
I don't own the place, so it's just do whatever I can.
Yeah.
We're getting new lights in our final detail booth there, and we're going to be using those lights there, and we're going to put it at the back here. So you're going to have some square lights, some rectangle lights at the back here. We're going to have some hoists. It's going to look really tricky.
It's going to pop.
We're going to do that. In terms of events, we're always down for events. If somebody wants to go to any shows, get the car ready, we're always ready for that. We've currently won 10 concourse events with multiple Ferraris, Maseratis, all sorts of things. So, which is a massive accomplishment because that's 5 international judges looking over the car, and you get a tick of approval. Because if your car is actually not clean, you can actually lose points.
Yeah.
So every car starts at 100 points. And then they get deducted from there. So if you got like the Maserati we took to another show, it had an aftermarket aerial. He got knocked down 2 points in that. We had a Ferrari Testarossa, which is that one up on the wall. The lower part of the front splitter is supposed to be matte black, but it was gloss black. And it had the Ferrari shield on the guard. But I didn't, to me, the car looked standard.
Yep.
This is like 1980, but I wasn't even a thought back then, bro. I didn't know. I don't know what that car, how it came out. I mean, I did a little bit of research, but I was also focused on doing the job. And so we got knocked down points on that, and the car got silver instead of gold, or platinum actually, because that was really a platinum car. But with those things, they got deducted.
Yep.
And it brought the category down from 100 points down to like 95, so we got silver. But then we had another Ferrari at the last year's Ferrari Concourse event. We had 4 cars, and we won with 3. So we got platinum, gold, and silver.
Hectic.
Yeah. So we had a
taking out the podium, man.
pretty much, bro. We had everything, and we had a 348 Spider there. We had the Testarossa. We had a 430 Scud, and we also had a Daytona. We had a Ferrari Daytona.
Shit.
Yeah. That Ferrari Daytona is on the wall there, and you can see that it's got a nice big prize on it as well. So that car actually won Moto Classica 2023.
Man.
Yeah. So and that's in Melbourne. So we've taken out a lot of classes in a lot of different cars. So yeah, and not many people, especially a lot of guys around here, they don't really enter an event, so they can't they haven't won that. We've won 10 events.
Earned it.
Yeah, we've earned it, man.
Put the effort in.
And we've worked on some of the most rarest and expensive cars, as you can see, in Sydney. So I'm super proud of that, man. And it's just so cool that going from mechanical, building up that trust with people around Brookvale, seeing my face every day, and just being a good person, doing the right thing by people. When I started this business, I already had trust with these guys. So places like Cavallina Motorsports, I got a lot of Ferraris from them because they trusted me, before, because they could see, you can generally see how people are when they handle a car.
Yeah.
If they look after a car, if they understand that car is super rare and they handle it really well, then it's good for them to see that.
It's a good indication.
But if you're a rat bag and opening the door, ripping things up, ripping the handbrake up, it's like, man, that's like $2 million car. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
When I go up here and I deal with all these cars, they throw me the keys to the F40, F50, Enzo. I'm like, here you go for it. So
sick.
There's times I'm like, this is like $30 million worth of car in my hand, and I'm driving them too. So it's just really cool to build up that trust with people. Next year, definitely going to be a lot more events, renovate the place, make it look better, always trying to level up, always trying to get the latest and greatest coatings, products for our customers, and some more events.
Open to all types of cars though too,
Every
I
car.
imagine.
I do any car, bro. I do some of the shittest cars, but I also do some of the best cars in the world.
Yeah.
To me, I love all cars, even if it's a van, I don't care. To me, it's a
Van
car.
needs love too.
They do, and you know what? Sometimes they pay more than these guys, So
Well, especially if they're a business. I can imagine if a business comes in and goes, hey man, I need all my vans done.
100%. And you know what? Sometimes you get a phone call. I mean, I had a guy that had, he went shopping, right? Grocery shopping. And he forgot he left his chicken in the car. Brand new Tesla Model Y. Bro, this car, and he went to Melbourne or something for the weekend, came back, and a hot day, the car stunk. And I fixed that, It was gross, but I fixed it, but you just get jobs like that. It's funny, I remember I had one job one day. I was working away in here, it was hot as fuck, and we was getting through it. I was like, I was coming to go home, I was coming to go in the pool. This guy, he came in, and he's like, you got to help me. I was like, what do you mean? Are you okay? It was like he got stabbed or something. And he was really shaken up, and he's like, I really need your help. Nobody will help me. Can you please help me? I was like, yeah, well, of course. What's
wrong?
up?
Yeah.
Went outside, and his son actually tried to commit suicide
Oh shit!
in the car. So there was blood everywhere, dude.
Oh.
Everywhere.
Fuck.
And what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
You can't just say, yeah, go to the next guy.
Yeah.
I helped him. I stayed back the night. I stayed back all night. It's like 8 o'clock at night. I got that car like pristine.
That's amazing. Man.
I felt so sorry for this guy. Was like so shaken up. Because obviously he saw it. He found out where the car was, and the guy was in there, slit his wrist, and he survived. But man, there was like clumps of blood everywhere. It was hectic. And I remember I was really taken back that day because I've actually suffered depression before, and I've beat it, very, very happily beat it. And I remember sitting back that time, and I was like, man, I was really like sad. I was like, fuck, man, like you never know what some people are going through, and then. Never. Yeah, because he said, he goes, man, he was like, you wouldn't pick it. Like, he was such a happy person, loved life, and then does that. Like, so that was a big eye-opener for me.
Yeah.
And, but that's how it is with detailing. You never know what kind of job you're getting it in, and it's actually very exciting. Do you guys watch Ammo NYC at all?
No, I don't, man.
Watch some of Ammo NYC's videos. He works on the best cars in the world, and then he'll go and pull a car out of a fucking forest and be like, let's get this car cool again. And that's awesome. And that's kind of what I based my detailing business off.
Yep.
I based my business off 2 different businesses. One, Ammo NYC. Doesn't matter what kind of car it is. It's a car. It's cool. It's got an engine. It's got 4 doors. It's got 4 wheels. It's cool. Let's go. And Macca's. You know why Macca's?
Why?
Because it's always good.
Okay. I'm loving it.
Every time you go there, it's always good.
Yeah.
So my business is, I want to make sure every time you come here, it's always good. It's a decent price. You can afford it. And it's always going to be a good service.
He's dead right,
Smack bang on.
I absolutely love Macca's Chocky Thick Shakes.
Dude, have you ever really had a bad cheeseburger?
It's never failed me, no. Not once.
Even if it looks a bit shit, like it's still good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I base my business on Ammo NYC because any car, it's cool. Like every car's a story. I appreciate them, and I always want you to have a good experience and be able to afford it. And that's what we do at Detail AutoHaus.
Man.
Yeah.
Look at that. That summarized the story
sums
right
it
there.
up.
There you go. Yeah. Somehow I found my way to that, but yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. Look, the reason why I wanted to ask is concluding this potty now. Like, I just wanted to plug you as much as we can, man. If people can see you out in the wild at events or see your cars that you've done at events.
Come up to me, man. We're always out. I mean, last big event we did was the B&W Superfest. We had like 6 cars on display.
Man.
I was just showing you guys just before the B&W Z8. Nobody's done a fucking B&W Z8 because there's none around. I've done one. I've driven one, and we had one on display.
Yep.
But it was so funny because we were like a wild card entry. Like nobody knew we were kind of coming. But I know the event organizers, and they were like, yeah, Jace, we'll sneak you in. Because their biggest sell was, come see a B&W Z8. Because Parramatta B&W have one like in their vault, right? They've got one. It's not registered. Me, just a little business, rocked up with not only that, but like 6 other cars. I had an E30 M3 there, had a Z8, I had my F80, I had my friend's got an F81. So B&W never made a touring in the F-Series M3. He got a normal 328i touring, and he chopped it up and made it an M3 wagon.
Okay.
So it's the only one in Sydney or Australia.
Australia, yeah.
I had that there, and I had a mad M760 limo edition.
Yep.
So it was V12, twin turbo, 4-wheel drive, full like luxurious, like the champagne glass in the back and everything. Like it was sick. Like we had a good, and I had an M3 F80 CS as well. So we had like one of the biggest displays there. And I looked at that moment, I was like, man, like I came from not knowing how to do this to now having one of the biggest displays at one of the biggest shows.
Yeah.
It's unreal, man. Like I literally pinch myself every day. I'm like, this is a dream. And I always say to people, if I won the lotto and I was an absolute Billy, I would still be here, but I'd have the best shop.
Yeah.
I'd have the best shop. Yeah, because I love doing this, and I'll do this even if I was filthy rich. I just
100%.
love doing this.
The passion is there.
Yeah, if I could take financials away from it, and like, I need to get money for that job so I can pay rent and stuff. If I was just like totally financially free, I would love doing this job every day.
Yeah.
I would just spend a week on a car, just do this, do that, do a little bit here, do a little bit there.
Mate, the talent, the passion, and most certainly the skill that is involved within this, like, you absolutely have it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
No one can take that away from you.
There's another good show on YouTube, like a channel you should watch, is Obsessed Garage. Mm-hmm. This guy was like, he was in finance, earning big dollars. But he's so OCD, he created a brand called Obsessed Garage. And he would make wash and talk videos. So he's just washing his car, talking for like 2 hours. He just craps on, but everybody loves it because there is obsessed OCD people like him as well. He has one of the biggest brands now. Yeah. He's got his own range of products, tools, everything. And what it is like he'll make like the most crazy detailing shop. Now he's doing houses and stuff. But he would have like the most crazy detailing shop and he would have the most crazy toolbox. Every single tool is like pristinely placed, clean. You got to watch it because it's actually amazing what he's done.
I'll watch that. All right.
This guy went from... like me. Like, I was fine. I was earning good money. I didn't need to really change jobs, but he wanted to chase his dream. This is my dream. Now with my social media stuff, I have a voice. I didn't have a voice before. When I was working for my last employer, I'm not going to mention the company I was working for, they pretty much said, you're nothing. You're shit. Like, you're lucky to have a job here. You know, you can't do anything else but this. And then I remember one day, we had a big fight because I put in my annual leave to have 1 day off. I put annual leave in 1 month before to have 1 day off. And I had all the invoicing all done. I had all the parts ordered, had everything sorted. He literally just had to do nothing, just be there. And so he came in on Monday and I was like, oh yeah, for Wednesday, like everything's all sorted. You know, and he goes, what's happening on Wednesday? I was like, well, I've got my annual leave day. He goes, no, you don't. He goes, I unapproved it.
Oh.
I said, what do you mean? I've got the email saying you approved it. He goes, no, I deleted it. So he went on his computer and deleted it, went on my computer, deleted it. So there was no paper trail.
What an asshole.
And he goes, you're not going anywhere. I said, yeah.
Watch me.
And I was like, no, I'm going. And he goes, if you go, you're out. And I said, yeah, go watch me. And he goes, he said something and I was like, yeah, go fuck yourself. Oh, no, he goes, if you don't like it, leave. I said, all right. So I had my VESS at the time and I literally put my toolbox in the back. And he was at a different store at the time, but he could log into my computer. And he drove down from the shop. And he's like, where are you going? I was like, you told me to fuck off, so I'm out. Go fuck yourself. And he goes, oh, you'd be nothing without me. And I was like, yeah, watch me. I go, watch this space. And fuck, here I am. So it's just funny how somebody can treat you like shit for so long and then eventually you just say, enough's enough.
But at the same time, that was the point that changed it.
100%.
So do you hate him or love him for doing it?
Oh, I love him for doing it. You know, and going back to Frank, I love how hard your dad was on me as a kid because it made me the person I am today. Mm-hmm. Some kids these days, they're just weak as water. Like, honestly, like... It's so bad. But you know what? I'm so grateful for whatever your dad did. And I still call him my master. I still go past my master. Master Frank. You know, and that's the thing. Like, he was so tough on me, but he really taught me values and just how to be fucking good, you know? And I really appreciate that because a lot of kids these days, man, they're babied hard. Like, they're babied.
My biggest thing is they can't even like answer the phone. Like they won't call people. And
no, they text.
Yeah.
If you really want my business, you'll call me. Because I'm a caller.
You've got shit to do.
Man, I got shit to do. I don't have time to sit in and write an email. Oh, how's your day? I don't care how your day is. Call me.
Yeah.
Do you want my business? Do you want to do this? Yeah, let's go. I have people that want to collab with me all the time that email me. I said, emails suck. Call me. Here's my number. They don't call me.
Yeah.
So if they can't even fucking call me, why do I want to collab with you?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Completely agree.
So I can show you. I'll literally write, email suck, give me a call. Or what's your number? I'll call you. And they don't
come through.
Yeah.
Or it's even worse. What's the best way to contact you? Call me, and then they still send you an email. You're like, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
Nah. So it's just funny, you know. And that's what people do now. They text. I even get people that they text me when they're at the front. I just walk in. It's not that thing now. Like, people don't even knock on your door these days. They just call you when they're at the front.
True.
And people used to knock on the door. Like,
people just barge in.
Yeah. Now these days they're like, hey, I'm at the front. It's weird to knock on a door now, you know.
Last question.
Yep.
Because we're definitely going to do a part 2. We have to.
Okay, definitely. Because
we didn't even get through about 9 or 10 of the points that we actually had on the script.
That's fine. We can do more. I don't care.
What is... You said you've worked on a few rare cars now.
Yes.
What's another car or like the ideal car that you want to work on so badly? Like, you got to have it.
Well, look, I've already done it.
Really? Okay.
It's the F40.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that particular F40, it actually, whenever I see an F40 now, up close, I actually get very emotional.
Yeah.
Because that was a point, and I remember doing that car, and at that point I was like, my life's going to change from now. Because, mind you, that customer's got 98 cars. 98 cars.
Yeah.
And I do all of them. So at that point when I got that kind of contract, no, it's just like not really a contract, but it's like, you're going to do our cars now. You know, when I got that, I was like, my life's going to change from now.
Yeah.
Because this is some big stuff.
Yeah.
And even though I don't get the most money out of those jobs, because they just sit in the garage, they get dusty, they get a little bit moldy, I'll go and clean them and everything. I'm still working on my absolute dream pinnacle car, like the F40, man. Look at that. That's amazing. And now I've done the big four. I've done the 288 GTO, I've done the F40, I've done the F50, and I've done the Enzo.
Yep.
And I've driven all of them too. So it's really cool.
Ferrari's pretty close to your heart, hey?
Ferrari is definitely a passion for me, and yeah, it's a very, very emotional thing. Like, it's definitely my passion.
Yep.
I like to call it, what did I say the other day? I said something really good the other day. I probably won't be able to say it right now. But it's like dessert, right? Like, I do all this stuff to get by and everything, and that's just like playtime kind of thing. I do those cars, and I really, actually, really, really enjoy it. Like, I do these cars, and you know, I enjoy stuff like this. I enjoy cars in general. But when I do cars like that, it's really just... it really means something to me. It's really passionate for me, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love it. As much as I love Lambos, McLarens, all sorts of cars. I don't know why, but just Ferraris just hit different.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the red.
I was about to say, is it always Ferrari red, or do you do like yellows and or blacks or whatever? You're like, oh yeah, it's sick, but it's not the red. Like,
yeah, it's not. I don't know. You got to have a red Ferrari, right?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, if you don't have a Rossa Corsa Ferrari,
You're not doing
you get
it
a
right.
black one. It's like, you really get a Ferrari?
You better have a red one at home.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know. It's just different, right? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I've done a few black ones now, but it's not the same. Got red. Got to have red.
that hardcore color.
Yeah. So in terms of like, what's another car I'd like to detail? I don't know. I feel like I've done a lot of them. Maybe a Pagani would definitely be up there. That would be a car that I'd like to do over a whole day and just be like, even if I'm not doing that much to it, just really just soak
Involved,
in.
yeah.
Just really just soak in all the design stuff around the car.
Yep.
Like, if you really look at some of those cars, they're absolute masterpieces, you know?
Yep.
And yeah, that's what I love about cars. You know, you can sometimes look at them and go, fuck, that makes sense.
When you understand the amount of effort and craft that goes in just to a quarter of a car, especially when we're talking about next level Ferraris, we're talking about supercars here. Like, it comes down to the grain.
It does.
The weight, the performance, how how it streamlines, like how it, man.
F40s don't have carpet. They don't even have a door handle. The same weight. They've got a string that you pull. Like, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's why when it comes to EVs, I don't have any passion for them, because they just don't.
There is no personality.
There's nothing. It's just an appliance.
Yep.
You're driving a fucking toaster or something, bro. Like, I don't know. There's nothing to that car that's awesome. Like, that must have taken them hours to do that. No, it's just an electric motor with a body on top and a big iPad screen, and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. So it just doesn't do it for me.
Where does the M car sit in your heart there?
Oh, dude, M cars are a massive part of my life. Okay, so quick story. I know it's been going on a while, but quick story about this car right here, right? So my dad had an E36 M3, but before that, he had a 3.2i with like an M-style
M-pack
body kit, right? Yeah. And I was 4 years old, because it's 1994 when that car came out. I was born in 1990. The car, and I was pretty good with cars at the time. And I remember my dad telling me this story, because I don't remember, but I remember he came home one day, and my house, like, the garage is downstairs and the house is on top. So you had to walk upstairs. And whenever my dad came home, I used to look over the balcony, like, oh, Dad's home. And he came home, and I was like, that looks different. And I remember he parked in the garage, and I was like, did you get a new car? And he's like, no, what makes you say that? And I was like, the mirrors are different. And he's like, no, I just changed the mirrors. And I was like, the side skirts are different. And he's like, no, I just got a different body kit. And I remember I walked around the back and I said M3, and I went, Mom, Dad's got a new car. And he's like, shut up, you little shit. Because he tried to hide it. They were both red, right? Yeah. They both look exactly the same. Like 328 and that with the M Sport body kit looked so similar, right? Yeah. So, yeah, and I full sprung him. And my mum was like so mad at him, because they were like 120K back then. Yeah. That was big bickies in the 90s, man. They had them rolling that shit to have that kind of thing. So that was like a house back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, and my dad had an M3, so he was a baller. And yeah, they were great. My parents had a photography business, so they were doing pretty well back then. But then,
What were they shooting?
man, they did everything. They did landscape photos. They did, shit, they have like helicopters and stuff of the city.
Wow, yeah.
They did weddings and everything. And then these came out, and then they got wiped out. So, but they did everything, man. And back in the day, what my dad used to do was when you're at a restaurant and you're on a date, you got your girlfriend there, he would go and take a photo of you. So he'd walk around a restaurant and be like, "Oh, do you want to get a photo taken?" So that moment actually meant a lot. Now it's just like,
Whatever.
see you later, whatever. Delete it, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Take it again, whatever. But back then it was actually a professional photo, framed, touched up, edited and everything, and it was a really nice moment.
Yep.
And people used to buy that kind of stuff.
Arguably, the quality that he did, though, was still better than half the shit that ever comes out of the phone anyway.
Yeah,
so,
well, it meant something.
Yeah.
Photos don't really mean anything now. It's just like, it means something when you put it on social media.
Yeah.
You know, like when you look at your phone now, look like 12,000 photos. You flick through it. Oh, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just different times, man.
It is different times.
Yeah.
There is something special about getting a photo taken, though. When you put someone who actually knows what they're doing, their craft, their quality, like they know the angle, they know the lighting, they know how to make it just work.
Exactly.
I can't take a photo to save my life,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I'm trying. I try, but yeah, I'm not the best.
Yeah.
But M cars sit very deeply in my heart because I remember I always used to go for drives with my dad. He used to call it training the greyhound. So we would go in the M3 because he wouldn't drive every day. He would only drive on the weekends, really. And we'll go up to like Old Pack and we'll go further, Pete's Ridge, and we'll just go fang it up there, right?
Yep.
And I was so young. And one day, as I got older, when I was like 13, 14, I had my own car. I remember he pulled over one day and he's like, "You drive." I was like, "No way." And I was like, "No way." And I drove the M3.
How did that feel?
Oh, it was unreal. It was unreal.
Nervous.
It was just like the most amazing moment of my life.
Yeah.
And at the time. And yeah, I just couldn't stop smiling. I was like, I fucking drove an M3. It's so cool. And like, yeah, so that was pretty much it for me. And I just loved M cars ever since.
Yeah.
You know? We used to live at the bottom of a hill. So when I was young and we were in the M3, I was like, "Dad, go up the hill. And he would go in second gear, third gear, and like just hearing the engine, you know. We used to do that all the time, and it's just a different thing, you know. We really made a good connection with the car.
I still love to hear that stuff now, man. What are you talking about? Like,
Yeah, I know, yeah, we do, right? I mean, don't you hear a burnout in the middle of the night? You're like,
Yeah, okay.
out here guessing cars. I live like in Colorado on Fraser Street, so I'm just back from the pub there. Just hearing everyone go past. I'm like Sylvia, R34, Supra, M2, like,
and then you hear the V Rods go past the Harleys.
Yeah. Oh man, the bike gangs are hectic again.
Loud, man.
They're hectic again.
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, where can people find you, Jason?
So I am located at 39 Mitchell Road in Brookvale, just across the road from Buckety's. And I've been here for coming up to 4 years now. So it's just crazy going from starting my business to being here for 4 years. Like I never thought this would have happened. So yeah,
man, this shop is legit. Like it's
look,
I love the black walls. Like
dude, we're doing what we can. I mean, if you look at photos back from 21, this place was white and blue. It was a dump. I never had that space. There was a boat there, bro.
Yeah,
there used to be a boat there, a car trailer. Like there was an engine behind you. Like there just was just crap. Like this whole place was just like an old mechanic shop. They used to build engines here. Bill Buckle used to be here.
No way.
And they used to build wheel standers. So they used to build like cars that would just do wheel stands down the whole quarter mile.
Yeah.
So this shop is actually such a privilege to be here because this shop actually has so much history. Yeah. And man, I'm just so proud to be a part of it, man. Like Bill Buckle used to be here.
Yeah.
Like putting aircon in Corollas and stuff back then because it was an option.
So different.
Yeah, like it's just been around for years and years and years, and yeah, I'm here. So
crazy.
It's really cool because like one point in my life when I'm old, I want to sit back, and that's all I do. All this stuff I do right now is so I can sit back later when I'm an old cunt and go, I fucking did it.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why I put moments like this up on my wall. I'm like, man, at that time, me and my buddies, we detailed over $30 million worth of cars. And to me, that's such a iconic moment in my life.
Yep.
I was like, man.
It's a gnarly milestone too.
Yeah, it's like, man, I went from being a mechanic, being told you're shit, you're nothing, to doing that. And I was like, that was my I got you moment.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, look at me now.
Man, imagine what the next 10 years are going to be like.
You never know. never know, man.
I'd encourage everyone, if you're looking on socials and looking at all the work that you put up, Jason, it's arguably even cooler just coming in here and actually seeing the setup and seeing the way you put this together. It's so cool, man.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
You feel the vibe as soon as you walk in.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I try to create that. Look, I'm no interior designer by any chance, but I try to make the place a bit cool and stuff. And
But it's a workshop at the same time, right?
That's the thing, it's got to be functional and look decent at the same time. So I'm always trying to do things to make it better, but work better at the same time. So and I don't have the most space. Like I wish that gap there was deeper, so I could actually have more hoists and stuff there. And but I've got to work it out so everything will fit, but look cool at the same time. So so definitely more cool things coming to 2025. We've got more companies are working with us. Cutting Edge Chemicals came in at the end of 2024. Man, we love their stuff. They're amazing. Brand ambassador of them. I work with Summernats Chemicals as well. G Technique, Art to Shine. Like these are all massive players, and they are all the guys that make us who we are today. So, man, if it's not for them, I mean, we'll probably still be here. But you know, these guys make up a big chunk of like who we are.
For sure.
Awesome products, awesome results. Man, you work with good tools, you get good results, right? So
But I think that's a lot of where the service and what people pay for really are. At the end of the day, they're paying for your expertise, your skill, your passion, and your time, but also that reliability and what you know about the industry and what products to use to actually put on the car and what type of color a car. Like I've learned shit today. Like I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
And like, you know, some people book their car and I actually know more about the car than they do. You know, like, I'm like, oh, did you know your car can do this and do that? No, not. You know, like especially like I love E46s. Like I know a lot about them. FAs, I know a shit ton about them.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's my era, and I know them so well. Like I know, like it's just cool.
Yeah.
Like when I get one in, he's like, oh, the right front speaker's not working. I'm like, I know what that is. No, it's sick. And how cool is that for a customer to be like, like, this guy knows like so much stuff. So it's really cool me being a qualified mechanic and detail at the same time. Because you know when I pull your wheels off the car, they're going to get back on the car well.
Yep.
If I pull any trims off the car, they're going to get back on.
Yep.
You know, I'm not just some guy that's
taking stuff off.
Yeah, like we actually know. You
Yeah.
know? And that's my biggest point of difference.
Yep. Socials, Detail AutoHaus everywhere.
Yeah, Detail AutoHaus, Facebook, Instagram. I'm doing a little bit more of TikTok. Next year, I'm going to pump TikTok a lot. I haven't really done it that much because look, Facebook and Instagram are easy because you can just use like Business Suite and it like divides it to both.
Yeah.
TikTok doesn't link up somehow, so if I can work out a way to link all three when I do one post, that'd be great.
I got something for you.
Yep.
Oh, you do?
There's a platform there.
My man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to come next year.
Mad.
Because TikTok is actually very good. It's very engaging. Instagram and Facebook.
It has more than 50% share of voice of the entire social media market in the world. That is
100%.
crazy.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So yeah, definitely next year, I'm going to pump TikTok. I want to do a lot more videos, a lot more face-to-face videos, educational videos. It's everything, man.
Piece to camera stuff. Like,
What do you do now when you talk about the cars coming in and what you've done to it?
Yeah.
I love those.
I'm just doing what I think is okay, you know, but you know how many takes it? Bro, it's like 50 takes.
But that's real.
I'm like jumping in front of the camera. Like, that looks dumb. I'm like,
but that's real. That's real. That's legit.
I bought a mic. I didn't know how to use it. Half the time it didn't work. Now I figured it out.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. So.
And you got to warm up before you do it as well. You can't just jump in.
Oh no, I jump in. I'm ready. I'm fucking ready, man. And I did one the other day, one take, and I was fucking stoked. I was like, yeah, fucking confident. Let's go. And my work was like, that was fucking good. So yeah, it's you just never know. Sometimes you just spit mad shit and it comes out, and you're like, oh, that's actually pretty good. And then you go on, you edit it, you put your captions in there and stuff. Like, I don't know how to edit like to make it look better, but I know how to like add captions,
Touch it up.
and I don't know how to like. I can add music, that's easy, but I don't know how to like do transitions and stuff. I don't know how to do that stuff. So I just use like captions or use CapCut.
Yeah. Let it do it for you, bro.
Templates.
I just discovered templates the other day. I'm like, I've been using this for a year. And I actually made a meme the other day. It was pretty funny.
Fuck yeah.
Like a Porsche GT3 RS, and then it was like Donald Trump in the back. He's like, I was like, sick, I made that. I was like, this could go viral.
Yeah. My boss loves it every single time I use Donald Trump, like templates in any of the stuff we do.
He's just funny. Like his dance.
Yeah.
That's so funny. It's so stiff. It's good.
He loves it.
He's good. He's the man.
Jason, mate, thank you so much for coming on to
Boys,
the podcast
thank you.
today. We're
I
definitely
appreciate
going to do a part 2.
100%.
We need
We've
to.
got to do a part 2. And we'll do it with Frank. Why don't we do a sit down with Frank, me and him?
You have no idea how badly I want that to happen.
I think we said the other
Imagine
day.
The only problem is every third
Imagine we have a few
you
drinks.
fucking
Yeah,
shit.
you fucking remember you fucking did this, bro. We didn't talk about the fucking. Story.
I know.
We gotta go, right? We gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go.
We'll leave that for part 2.
Yeah, we'll have a part 2. But
We
then
literally live next to each other, so
yeah,
we can do this anytime.
yeah, definitely.
But
Boys, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And man, to be on the pods, it's an honor, man. It's another part of my legacy, and I've done 3 now. So yeah, like it's awesome, man.
Thank you,
I
man.
really appreciate the invite, guys, and yeah, whatever I can do to help you guys out, let me know.
Thank you for having us in the palace.
yeah.
Of course.
Thank you for sharing stories with the old man.
That's it.
No, but it's fascinating to hear how you've worked with him, your journey, what you've gone through, and then now you've built this empire. It's
Yeah, but you know what? It all came from him.
just
He taught me how to be the person I am.
Yep.
And then the journey I went on from that taught me as well. But he set the standard from day one. Don't be a shit cunt.
Alright, we should just wrap on it with that.
Listen to me. Don't do anything else.
What are you fucking doing? Fuck you. Why are you fucking doing this? Fucking do that. And now I don't fucking do that. I do that, you know? So yeah, no, your dad definitely set the stage. So no, I appreciate it, man. And it's so cool to see you. Like I remember when you were super young, and now I'm fucking here doing a podcast with you. Like how cool is that? And I walk past your dad, and I call him my master. You know? Like, that's awesome. You know, I think that is the coolest shit out. You know, and yeah, I'm sure he's proud too.
He is. He loves you guys.
Yeah, because it's always good to see because I do training classes as well for students,
Yeah.
and I'm so proud of seeing them get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They go out now. Like I've got one guy. All he does now is supercars. I message him all the time. I mean, get that money. That's sick. That's so cool, man. That's so
gnarly.
awesome that he took what I do and he got inspired by me, and now he's
Applied it.
Yeah,
Applied it
he's
and
applied it. He's from Canberra. He's called Top Down Detailing.
Hectic.
Awesome.
I'll check
And all my other students, I always message them all the time. Like, man, good on you. Good, you know, that's awesome. And they ring me. Oh, Jace, I'm just doing a car. Like, what can I do with this? And I guide them through it, you know. And
Yep.
I think that's so cool that I can offer my help now. It's really cool.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But boys, I've got to get going.
Yeah.
It's late.
Tony,
Thank
call
you.
us out.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
guys for making it to the end. Thank you again, Jason, for coming on the pod. It's been a pleasure being here. Hearing your story, seeing where we've come from, stories of detailing. I know we didn't dive much into that, but we just went on. So part 2 is definitely coming.
Part 2 is definitely coming.
Thank you guys for making it to the end. If you want to follow us, we're all over the social media platforms, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, the whole lot, Car Culture Australia. And this is probably
This is our last technically
one.
recorded podcast for the year.
2024.
So, guys, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Everybody, New Year.
And have a happy New Year, and we'll be back and do more next year. So,
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
On that note,
definitely call me for the part 2.
definitely.
Some more
All
stories.
right. Thank you guys.
All right, guys,
Until
thank
next
you.
time.
Have a
Bye.
night. Bye.